98.5, the Sports Hub of Joe Murray with you tonight until 11 o'clock. Skaz is here. The baseball boys, all of them, just pushing them out. But we're going to continue to talk a little bit of Sox. Literally, last night, we are ending the show. We're saying our goodbyes. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. We literally sign off. And Nesson couldn't even come back on time for Kenley Jansen to throw a pitch that ends the game. So we couldn't even tell you last night that the Red Sox lost a game that they should have won, and it's a good game. So a couple of takes off the bat, and we'll start there tonight at 617-779-0985. That's the phone number. You call in, give us your name, where you're from, what you want to talk about. Bing, bang, boom. Put you right through. You can also join us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/thesportshub. You can watch us however you want. I like to watch from home. So I take my remote control and I go, nope, one more time. Ready? Nope, forget it. I always say 98.5thesportshub.com YouTube. Why is it not working? I don't know. But that's what you do. You just hit the button and say 98.5 The Sports Hub YouTube. And then it goes right through. And that's how I watch. Anyways, Red Sox, Patriots. What else do we have going on tonight? We got a full night of stuff in or out later on tonight. Musings. We're going to talk to Taylor Kyles from CLNS, get his thoughts on everything happening with the Patriots. We're going to talk to Brendan Glasheen, as there's a big event going on over at TD Garden tonight, WNBA action. Where I want to know what happened. I want to know. I heard it's a party over there tonight. So we'll talk to the voice, a WNBA voice, Brendan Glasheen, later on here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. So again, the phone number 617-779-0985. But we mentioned last night, couldn't even end the show without them losing the game. The Red Sox lost for the 8th time in the last 12 games. And a bunch of things happened last night. The Astros committed 4 errors. They had one guy just miss first base at one point. The Red Sox had 2-0 leads, 4-2 leads. And it was Lucas Sims, the acquisition at the trade deadline, that came in to tie the game. And by the way, he got out of a really bad jam to end it. So 4-4 going in the 9th, and then Kenley Jansen gave up the Diaz first pitch walk-off home run in the 9th. So the bullpen is beat up, but the bullpen's beat up because the starting pitching was a problem for a while. But the starters have been doing their job. Tanner Houck was really good last night. It was his 3rd straight really good outing. And, 3 runs over 6 innings against the Houston Astros, I'll take that. And his last 3 starts, his ERA is 2.14. So it's not necessarily the problem is the starting pitching. It was that it struggled out of the gate after the All-Star break. Here's another thing regarding Tanner Houck and the Red Sox. They've lost in all of his last 6 appearances. That's not good. Brian Bayo has been very good. If you look at the 2 of them, their pitching has been great. They've been getting the starting pitching from those guys. But there are some problems, and I'm talking immediate problems right now when it comes to the Red Sox and their bullpen. They have Houston and Kansas City on deck. And the Astros absolutely own the Red Sox. They've beaten the Sox 4 in a row. And it's like they own them. They know what. They just put them up against the ropes, and then they take care of business. It's like the little brother in the backyard. You let them have some fun, and then you take over. And the Royals, if you think about the Royals, the Red Sox have been chasing them, right, for one of those wild card spots or the final wild card spot. Well, Kansas City's now tied with the Twins. They've won 5 in a row now, and they're 13-6 since July 29th. The next 5 games for the Red Sox, 2 against Houston. Then you get Arizona. They're very, very important. Now they do get some reinforcements potentially. Liam Hendricks is coming back. Justin Slayton's coming back as well. So Can they get to the end of the month? That's the question. The season may have ended last night. It's not over yet. I applaud the Red Sox for being entertaining, something that we needed this year. We got good baseball. And when I say good baseball, quality games, interesting, talking about them the next day. So if there's a difference between last year and this year, I know the record really doesn't indicate that, but this has been a more enjoyable team to watch. And I'll give them that. But could the Red Sox even get to September? Can they get to September? I know some people are happy that they got us almost to the last preseason Patriots game. But can they get you to September? Something they haven't been able to do. The Red Sox right now have a 6.93 reliever ERA in 115 innings since the All-Star break. And I know I mentioned the starters haven't pitched well, and it really hurt that bullpen. The starters have a 5.0 ERA in 145 innings since. I hope it really just kind of evens out over the next 10 days or so. They've been getting the hitting, though. Yoshida's been great. He's been great. Right? Last night had a big home run. He's hitting .458. It's only second to Yordan Alvarez. Numbers are insane. But here's my question to you guys. I'm not going successful season because it's not. I'm not doing any of that. Can the Red Sox hang in there for another 20 days or so? Can they hang in there for another 20 days or so? And I'll also say this. I was asked this year, what's one improvement you would like the Red Sox to be better at this year? And I was laughed at when I said it. But I think it's coming back to hurt them. Since the start of the 2023 season, the Red Sox have 193 errors. It's the most in Major League Baseball. It's continuing to hurt them. So when you think long-term about this team or where the upgrades are going to happen or how can they get better, that's the number I circle. So laugh at me all you want, right? I said all I want them is to make simple plays, do the bare minimum. Since 2023, this team has yet to be able to do the bare minimum. 193 errors, the most in baseball since the start of 2023. Can the Red Sox get you to September, to week one of the Patriots? Can they get you there? We'll start there tonight at 617-779-0985, and we'll look into how bad the Sox really are late in games. It's really just been here they are, 4.5 games back, and it's just, you can look at maybe 5, 6, 7 games that they have blown in the ninth inning or later. It's been really bad. So, although I've been entertained and all I asked for was quality baseball over the summer, the season could be over. I want to see if they can hang in there. That's my question. Do you think they can? We'll start there, 617-779-0985. You can also join us on YouTube tonight. We got Skaz here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.
field base hit. McCormick into third. He's coming around. Ref Snyder will just toss it into second. And this game is tied. 4-4 in the eighth.
I don't know if this was the cutter or sweeper, but we've seen Pena kind of, or Dubon rather, not handling that one away. It just wasn't getting out there enough. At the end of the bat, McCormick gets on, steals right away, and they make you pay for it.
Back here, 98.5, the Sports Hub of Joe Murray. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. It's the night show. Already got people in our YouTube chat. What's up? Bubba Ganoush, 420 Fishing, GB Bets, Ryan and Malden's in there. My dog. Ein Bind's my guy. So they're all hanging out. We're with you as well at 617-779-0985. Can the Red Sox hang in there for another 20 days or so? Last night, I felt the nail. Almost get hammered in, but it's not over yet. It's kind of like you could still push. The door got nailed, but you could still push. You could still kind of sneak your way in. It's like one of those fences that, you kind of rip it so you can still kind of go through it. It's one of those. Can the Red Sox make it another 2 weeks? Because I'm telling you, once you get to September 7th-ish, it's football. It's football all the way. Now, I know cut down day for the Pats is, August 27th? So you'll be able to react for a couple of days. There'll be some movement. Then it's Labor Day weekend, so we'll forget about everything. And then, boom, back on Tuesday night, there's Thursday night football. Can they make it that far? The Red Sox right now, 65-59 on the year, 4.5 games back from the Royals for the third and final playoff spot. The Royals have been rolling. They've won 5 in a row. But Alex Cora will tell you that he does look at the standings all the time. I look at the scoreboard. I know Kansas City won. I watched, was his quote after the game. The Red Sox now have 12 blown saves. Imagine that, 12 blown saves since the All-Star break. No other team has more than 8. But it's been really bad. All of these losses, I almost give them credit for bouncing back in some of these games. I think it's 13 blown leads, but 12 blown saves. 7th inning or later. Just going back to July 19th, 8th inning, blew it. 9th inning, blew it. 7:20, 10th inning. 7:22, 10th inning. 7:20, 12th inning. That was that Yankee game. 7:26, 7th inning. They blew 2 games on the 27th. On the 9th, 7th inning. August 12th, 7th inning. August 14th, 8th inning. The bullpen is overused, and a lot of this has to do with Alex Cora. I'm sorry. I'm glad he's back. But I think he's micromanaging the lineups a little bit too much. I don't know if this comes with the analytics or whatnot. But I do think, Brendan Bernardino getting 2 outs and facing three people to start a game, I thought that was a bad move. I thought it was bad. And Cora's not off the hook either. This team has struggled in August the last few years, and they're going to lose again this year in the month of August. That's a Cora thing. Still want him back, still think he's the right guy, but if you want to point to some issues that he has, it's that. His Augusts have been terrible. Now, I do not blame the Red Sox one bit for making the Sims and Garcia trade. I do not. But these numbers will not help my argument. 16 combined games, 16 innings, 9.92 ERA, 13 strikeouts, 5 home runs. It's not good. I'd still make the move. Where would the Red Sox be if they didn't make the moves? They'd be reaching AA, AAA guys. I mean, Dom Smith's gone. He's been saving them. By the way, let's take a moment of silence for Dom Smith. Who would have caught that ball last night, guys? The one that Cassis missed? That's a true story. I think Dom would have had that one. So I got your latest playoff odds. The odds of reaching the playoffs have dropped 29% per Fangraphs. Those odds were 53% after the All-Star break in the middle of July. Since then, they've gone 12-17. Their playoff odds are at 28.6 tonight. Imagine going from 53% to 28. So to clinch a wild card, it's 27.8. To win the World Series, hey, they got a 1.4 chance of that, and then to win the division, 0.6. They're on pace to finish August with a losing record for the 5th straight year. And what's really sad is they've been hitting the baseball. The top 3 teams in runs in the second half since the All-Star break. Arizona, who the Red Sox will see next. The Royals, who they'll see next. And them. Arizona's 21-8 since the All-Star break. Kansas City 18-10. The Red Sox 12-17. The 3 teams that need to compete, that are fighting for a playoff spot, who need to pitch and play well, 2 out of the 3 are doing it. The Red Sox are hitting. They're not pitching. Think about that. Arizona's 21-8. Kansas City's 18-10. The Sox are 12-17. Those 6 games are the difference of being in the playoffs and not. It's tough. Guys, we didn't even last night. We barely saw it went off the air. You probably hit the off button and then they lost. So it's how do they bounce back tonight? Right? I just named all those things. I actually give them credit for bouncing back after blowing all those games. Do you think they can make it another 2 weeks, guys? Can they keep it interesting for at least another 2 weeks?
2 weeks is asking a lot. I don't know. There's been a lot of moves lately that you just kind of, I don't know. Yoshida not in the lineup to start last night, I think is odd. You're playing the matchups too much. He's been the hottest hitter in baseball. Let the starter go. What was it, Houck last night? He had like under 98 pitches or whatever it was when they took him out. Could have left him in longer. So, yeah, I don't know. And they have the most errors by a significant margin over that span. So, yeah, it's just the belief in this team, the hope, the want. I just don't know if it's there. I think the players have it. I just don't think they have the talent or the pitching to overcome it. I think the rest of baseball is, like the rest of the American League is playing some of the best baseball right now, and the Red Sox are the ones headed in the other direction. So I heard Mavs and McCarthy talking about it a little earlier. You're almost hoping that, the Twins fall back or, Bobby Witt Jr. somehow stops being the best player on the planet right now. So you're asking for a lot of things to happen for the Red Sox to compete, and I don't know, Joe, do you feel confident with Nick Pivetta going to the mound tonight? Nick Pavetta's 5-8 record with a 4.5 ERA.
Against the Astros? No. But this is the whole thing. Let's say he gives them 5. Strikes out 6.
Doesn't matter. Too many of these guys are giving him 5.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But are they doing their job? Like, are
the bullpen didn't do its job last night.
They're hitting, and their starters are giving them 5.
Yeah, the bullpen's been the issue.
I think the home run ball's been an issue too.
Well, thankfully Cutter Crawford's not on the mound tonight, but yes.
But like if you really want to point to a couple of things, and who wrote it today? There was actually 2 good articles I read on the Red Sox today, and I want to credit them. Julian McWilliams talked to Core after the game, but we've praised Bailey for what he's done with the pitching staff, right? Are they getting a little too cute? Like, I don't know, bullpen guys, don't you want them to just throw gas? Throw gas. Don't throw the lollipop slider. Throw gas. And I think that, listen, I'm no pitching coach, okay? I can be Coach Joe if you want me to from the dugout. I can tell you this. This is what I would tell you to do. Less funky stuff. More fast stuff. Like, let me give you the movie Major League 2. You ever see Major League 2, guys?
Throw it hard, Joe. Is that your advice? Is it just hit the baseball? That would be your advice if you were the hitting coach,
no.
too?
You've seen Major League 2 or no?
I don't know if I've seen Major League 2.
Okay, Charlie Sheen in Major League 1. Remember, had the glasses.
The Wild Thing. I'm familiar.
There you go. Well, in Major League 2, he became, like this actor and was dating this hot model, and he started working on pitches like the Terminator and the the whatever.
Sounds like a really well-written movie.
Yeah. And so instead of him just being the Wild Thing throwing gas, he's trying to throw sliders and curveballs and other things. And it's like, dude, just throw the gas. So yes, gas. Yes, Coach Joe, Manager Joe, throw gas. Less ass. More gas. That's it. Just throw the ball fast. No, don't loop one in there so they wait on it. Because they know it's coming. They know you're not going to throw gas. They know it. Like Craig Kimbrell the other day. All he's got is gas, right? What'd they do?
Yeah, I don't want that guy, Joe.
But they sat on his gas because he doesn't have it anymore. The Sox are looping him in there constantly, and they're going yard. And they're waiting on it now. If you know a slider's coming, you just sit back, baby. Keep that shoulder back. Drive the knob. Bing, bang, boom. That's what happened last night. But when it's gas, you're a little bit out in front. You're a little behind. Just throw gas. Don't throw the loopers and the sliders and the junk. Gas. 617-779-0985. It's just all in pep talk. Stop throwing your slider. Throw gas. It's really easy. Ray's in Revere. Hey, Ray.
Geez, Joe, this is like a baseball graduate school course coming to you. I'm really learning a lot here. Hey, listen, where does the worst defensive club in baseball and the worst ERA in baseball since the All-Star break factor into this collapse? And, I guess that I just don't think they have enough pitching, and they're terrible defensively. And trading a bunch of middling players for a bunch of other middling players wasn't going to change it. And, what really bothers me, Joe, is I feel like the owner has made a strategic shift. He doesn't want to fund like the Yankees and overpay for talent. He really wants a farm system team where he's controlling the players and the costs. But fundamentally, his farm system isn't producing those kinds of players. And, Dombrowski, believe it or not, he built out the farm system. Their six best players, Rafaela, Casas, Duran, Crawford, Bayo, and Houck, are all Dombrowski guys. So let me just leave you with this. I really feel like if John Henry wants to implement what he wants, he needs to really bring back a competent general manager. I don't think Breslow's the guy. Trading Chris Sale and getting owned on that trade indicates to me he doesn't know what he's doing. So I got no faith, starting with the fact that the guy picking the groceries was like the 10th choice for the job.
And nobody wanted the job.
And
nobody wanted it.
You're right, Joe.
Well, I'll say this.
And I think it starts with John Henry.
Can we cross sports for 1 minute?
Yeah.
I think the Red Sox have the right manager, right? They have a guy who, and I blame him a lot for this because I think he's been micromanaging a little bit, which hurts the staff, right? It puts weight on that bullpen when he uses them every night or for only a pitcher, a batter or two. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying that Breslow's not the right guy, but you can tell that maybe he's not constantly trying to upgrade the team is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, it's all going to come down to his farm system. If you look this year, he drafted a whole bunch of pitching. And fundamentally, they just aren't developing enough of their own pitchers. And I don't blame John Henry for not wanting to pay the guys on the wrong side of 30. Usually doesn't work out. Didn't work out with Giolito, okay? But from my vantage point, if he doesn't want to spend and bring in the free agents, he's got no choice but to develop the players themselves, and I don't think core is the problem. You need 1,500 innings of pitching over the course of a major league season. The first 500 innings were excellent. The second 500 innings were middle of the road. The last 500 are the worst in the league. They just don't have enough arms.
Do they have another 500 in them? Sorry, Ray. Do they have another 500 in them? I'm going to say no if we're really looking at that. Well, he said 1,500, right? So 5, 10, 15. Sorry, my math. Joe math. Here's the deal. Here's my recommendation. Nick Pavetta's on the mound tonight, right? Throw gas. If you're a bullpen arm, throw fastballs. Don't throw sliders. They're waiting on them. Don't throw junk. If you're going to throw junk, waste it. Don't throw it over the plate where they can hit it 400 feet. Speaking of 400 feet, Roman Anthony hit one in Worcester today. That was a moonshot. You know, I'm curious about these guys. I know you wrote about this last week. It's like the Beatles are coming. You know, the young big three. You know, by the way, Marcelo Mayer placed on IL. I don't think we'll see him again this year. And then they just brought up the other kid. What is it, Christian? So I'm curious how all this ends up. Like, does Teal see any action at some point? Is he ready to go next year? None of them are pitchers.
Saw a nice Roman Anthony highlight tonight.
That's right. We did. Do they have any pitching highlights down there?
I did see Quinn Priester, after struggling mightily in his first couple starts for Worcester, bounce back in his latest. So
okay.
Yeah, there's a positive sign there.
Yeah, listen, I want a guy that can just I want fastball, 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 fastball. Splitter here and there. Throw the gas. Stop with the slurves. They're going yard. Stop. All right, we'll take a quick look at the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray, and we'll do a little Pats talk. What is the identity for the New England Patriots this year? I ask you. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox and Astros meet again tonight. Sox lost 5-4 and a walk-off in the ninth. All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Here tonight until 11 o'clock. We're hanging out. In or out should be fun tonight. We got a bunch for you. We missed the birthdays last night in Musings.
Joe, it's so funny because I got home sitting on my couch, watching TV or whatever I was watching last night, and at like 12:30, I just thought to myself, did we forget the birthdays?
Well,
we never forget the birthdays.
It's important to know whose birthday it is.
Of course.
I don't know why.
I'm going to have to look at who we missed yesterday. Issue some apologies.
Yes.
But the skulls, Joe, the skulls and the Dunkin' Donuts, baby, distracted us.
It's funny, but I haven't seen those stories pop up anywhere today. So again,
we may have an update on one of them.
Really?
The larger number, larger settlement, maybe.
Okay.
Or pursuant of settlement, I should say.
Hold that thought. But yes, we'll create the content. If it's out there, we'll create it. We'll give it to you. That's why we are here. And of course, if you see any stories, you can always send them to us. We will definitely talk about them because we love that. Again, the phone number 617-779-0985. What's the Patriots' identity this year? Feel like we haven't done that yet.
Do we know?
Well,
what do they do?
We have a show to do.
They're going to run the ball, Joe. They're going to play defense and run the ball. Right?
Yeah, they're going to go under center, right? Just want to make sure how the snap's going to work.
I heard you and Barth did a lot of snap talk on Sunday.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was listening to a little bit of Greg Bedard on my way in today. And he was talking about going under center versus shotgun and running plays and how Drake May sometimes will go under center, then audible and go back into shotgun, which almost validates my take that, and again, I'm not an ageist, but there's some serious old time, this is how you should do it. Because this is how you throw defenses off. And I would just like to tell you that in the NFL nowadays, you get 4 weeks of training camp, you get the season, and when the season ends, you can't work with the team. You have to go work on your own. Where in college, for example, the kid Bowman that's playing for Oklahoma State right now, he's been in college for 7 years. So think about it. He has 7 years of just taking reps at quarterback, even in the offseason. So I just look at it as these quarterbacks that are coming out of college are more prepared than the guys that are playing now. The biggest difference is the experience, right? The reps, seeing the different defenses, the pass rush, knowing where guys are, when should you throw the back shoulder throw, when not to throw over the middle of the field. That's all experience you can only get by playing. That's it. Right? So I feel like these kids that are coming out of college are more advanced and ready to go, where there's so many older coordinators who do things their way. And I'm using Alex Van Pelt in this scenario too. Alex Van Pelt likes to run the football, throw to the tight ends, and throw to running backs. If you watched the Cleveland Browns last year, they had plenty of outside receivers. I mean, Amari Cooper had a 200-yard receiving game, if you remember. It's because they packed it in on him. They went under center, they faked the run, they threw it deep to him. That's how it worked. But if they faked the deep ball, and Njoku's got him over the middle. When Nick Chubb was ready, he could run through the... All I'm trying to say is they had to do that because that's the talent they had on their roster. When you have Nick Chubb and running backs like that, you can have 2 tight end sets. You can throw to the tight end. But when you start packing the box in, that's when you got to throw it deep to a guy like Amari Cooper, and Joe Flacco could do that last year. Now, I still don't know if, I still don't know. And why am I forgetting the quarterback's name from the Browns right now who played with the Texans? Deshaun Watson. Don't know why I forgot his name. He has trouble deciphering short to long game. Like, that's one of his biggest differences. He needs to use his athletic ability. So when I look at him, he's a guy that needs to be out of the shotgun and be on the move. It's the same thing for Drake May. Anyways, I digress. My take is these college kids are more ready to go than the NFL guys because of the time. They don't practice anymore. And when the season ends, you can't work with the team, and that sucks. These college kids have been playing. Think about it. Their season ended. They got ready for the combine. They had the combine. Then they had the draft. Then they got drafted by their team, and then they showed up and had rookie minicamp. Then they have regular camp. Then they try to get ready for the season. They have joint practices. You name it. They have been throwing footballs and learning and are seasoned to where the NFL guys are just trying to get into shape. There's a lot of old timers, and I'm telling you right now, I feel like at times they're trying to move on from old timers in the league. Why are all these young offensive-minded coordinators getting jobs? Because they can relate to the younger players coming from college, and I'll give you one example right off the bat, which we'll get into later, Mike McDaniel. If you heard what Tua Tagovailoa said, Brian Flores told him he sucked every day. Why? Because he's a defensive-minded coach who's a hard ass, who's been in the league and didn't understand college quarterbacks. What does Mike McDaniel do? He tells him what he's good at. There's just a big difference there. It's huge. Anyways, what's the Patriots' identity this year? My take is these kids are ready to go. There's going to be a bunch of them this year. Quinn Ewers. Will Howard from Ohio State. These guys are going to be ready to go. So what's the Patriots' identity? Jacoby Brissett says, we're building our identity. Think we're doing a lot of things the right way. All the stuff you do in training camp, you kind of boil it down to what you're good at and what you're not good at. So throw that out. Then you get more condensed form of training camp. And that's when the fun part comes in. Trying to attack a defense, knowing they are trying to attack us in different ways. Brissett on where the Patriots are as they treat this like game week. So it's the final preseason game for the Patriots when they take on Washington this week. What is the identity for the Pats? Is it to run the ball and keep the ball out of the other team's hands and then play good defense? That's going to be some boring football. Van Pelt's going to be very interesting to watch. Even Mayo is going to be interesting to watch. I don't know how you evaluate these guys just yet. I'm on record thinking that Drake May is the best quarterback on the roster, but because of the schedule, he shouldn't play. He shouldn't. They should put Jacoby Brissett out to start the year. I don't know what's going to happen with that offensive line. But when it comes to the Patriots' identity, I think their identity is they're a young team with a brand new coach with not a lot of stars. I think that's their identity. It's not what type of philosophy they have. We'll get into more of this. Mike Lombardi, you know who he is, right? He's a good friend of Bill Belichick. He talks about who the starter should be for the New England Patriots. And, of course, if you want to get in on the Patriots' identity, you certainly can at 617-779-0985. Again, in the next hour, we're going to talk to Taylor Kyles. He is from CLNS. And after the WNBA game, which is at the Garden tonight, between the Sun and the Sparks, which is at halftime, and I can't believe that's the score at halftime. Can you? Do you see that score, Skaz?
Yeah, 41-35.
Okay, my score says 7-5.
Oh no, that is not the score, Joe. 41-35, big three at right at the buzzer at half for the Sun.
I wish I could show you this.
Yeah, you got to hit refresh.
I did that. Why isn't the remote working? I just saw Dennis, right? I can't talk into the mic. I can't. Why isn't it working? Anyways, what is the Patriots' identity? I don't know. We'll tell you what Mike Lombardi has to say, though, coming up on the other side. I'm Joe Murray.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub. these are just his pregame.
They've been getting wholesale deals for years.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hall.
I would stick to the plan. I would play Jacoby Brissett until I thought this offensive line got settled down. You know, right now we don't know who's going to be the tackles, how good will they be in the offensive line. And I think, look, I don't think you want to put Drake May out there and have him lose confidence. I don't think you want to put Drake May out there in week 3, bench him. I just don't think you want to do that. I think it's a lot easier to move from Brissett to May than it is to move from May to Brissett. Then you lose the kid's confidence. And I think a lot of this goes back to what is our plan. I think one of the things Sean Payton has with Bo Nix is he has a plan. He knew exactly what he was going to do from day one when he drafted him to what he's going to do. And I think the Patriots should stay on course. Look, Drake May got better last week than he did the week before. I think he's going to continue to make steady progress, which is good. But I don't think the Patriots should rush this guy because he's going to get the crap beat out of him, and it's going to be harder and harder once the games start. Look, preseason is good, but the regular season, it's faster, faster, faster. That's why you signed Brissett. So I think, to me, you have to second-order think. What happens if May is playing like a real rookie and hurting us? Do I bench him in week 4? Or what happens if Brissett's playing and he's not doing something? Then I could put May in and lift the team up and go with it the rest of the year. But once you go May, it's hard to go to Brissett from that point.
Yep, see? All the guys are sniffing it out. They're not biting the cheese either. This quarterback competition, blah, blah, blah. There's no competition. Brissett's going to be the guy week 1, and that's it. Because Joe said so. Don't believe the hype here. Hey, I wanted to see Drake May just as much as everybody does, but I know what's best for the Patriots long term, and it's him not playing right away. He doesn't need to play to develop. I think he's the best quarterback on the team right now. I think he's ready to go. The Patriots aren't. I'm consistent on saying that. But you know what I am kind of interested in? Maybe a coach that's had to make a decision on a young quarterback. Maybe someone that had to coach up a couple of young quarterbacks. A man named Bill Parcells. You remember him? The tuna. Oh, do we have that sound in there? Remember the guy that walked in on the tuna? This guys? One night, I think a guy was, we were talking about bathroom spots, emergency situations. And some guy said that when he walked into the bathroom, he walked into the tuna. Bill Parcells. But he's a little guy. He's a guy who knows a little something about rookie quarterbacks. And he spoke to Dan Shaughnessy, the Boston Globe. We'll have that for you coming up here on the other side. We'll get the Sports Hub headlines. But he walked in on the tuna. True story. That's what happened. We'll get you Sports Hub headlines. We'll tell you what's going on in this WNBA game. And right now I'm watching the Family Feud, men versus women, WWE stars. And the remote doesn't work in the studio, so I can't watch anything else. I'm Joe Murray here in the Sports Hub.
From the Town's Fair Tire Studios, the Patriots.
Into the end zone!
Play here.
Touchdown for the Patriots!
WBC FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox and Astros in action in just a few minutes. Nick Pivetta on the mound tonight. Sox lost 5-4 on a walk-off. Not good. Not good. Patriots preparing for Sunday's game versus Washington. They made a bunch of moves today. They claimed Matt Landers off waivers. They placed Jaquai Jackson on injured reserve. And they signed Kobe Jones and rookie Christian McCarroll. And the Connecticut Sun lead the Galaxy over at TD Garden at halftime. Headlines are brought to you by Eastern Mass's leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update soon.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5. The Sports Hub.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Murray, Skaz here. See you guys in our YouTube chat. SSC, Ryan, Einbein, Snap Time, Brother Bluto. Who else is in there tonight? Jonathan P. And right now, 60 people are watching, and you could be one of them by going to youtube.com and then searching 98.5 The Sports. I'm wearing my nice Hawaiian shirt so you can see me. I don't know if you can see Skaz. No, can't see Skaz. But I'll tell you, though, the handsome man. To play or not to play a young quarterback, that is the question. Dan Shaughnessy had a chance to catch up with Bill Parcells, the tuna, to discuss the pros and the cons of playing young quarterbacks. And, of course, Bill Parcells knows all about veteran journeyman quarterbacks. He also knows about first-round franchise quarterbacks and quarterback controversies. He also knows a thing or two about Bob Kraft and the mindset of the New England football fans. He knows the Patriots are rebuilding. He also said there's going to be pressure to play number 3 overall pick Drake May over 8-year veteran Jacoby Brissett, who, by the way, has played for 5 teams. Quote, fans always want to see what's new. Specifically, if you are losing games, said Parcells. No specifics, please. Parcells worked for the Crafts for 4 full seasons. It ended poorly. Maybe you heard about that. And has mentored Brissett since he was 15 years old in high school at West Palm Beach. The tuna roots for Brissett to succeed, but won't butt into New England's football operation. Parcells has strong feelings regarding young quarterbacks playing right away. Quote, fans never consider the psychological makeup of the player you're going to get ready to throw to the wolves. He cautioned. What you really have to judge is the timing and the chance to succeed. Sometimes if they don't succeed, it destroys them. So I think you just have to see what you're dealing with and personally what kind of temperament he seems to have. How does he respond to negative play situations or hard coaching? Fans will say, well, if he can't take it, we don't want him anyway. But when this is a high draft choice, you got to do everything in your power to allow him to have a chance to succeed. Economically these days, it's not in your best interest if he doesn't succeed. It's bad if you have a lot of expense and no production. Asked to cite a top draft pick who may have played too much too soon, Parcells mentioned David Carr, who was sacked 76 times and threw 15 interceptions with only 9 touchdowns his rookie year in 2002 for the 4-12 Texans. In 93, Parcells was hired by Orthwine. The Patriots were terrible. 4 straight losing seasons. 1-15, 2-14. Well, you know what his first move was? He drafted Drew Bledsoe out of Washington State with the number 1 overall pick. Bledsoe started right away, completing 50% of his passes. He threw 15 touchdowns to go with 15 interceptions in his rookie season. So there you go. Parcells knows what it's like. Parcells won with backup quarterbacks, too. Anyways, he goes on to say that Drew got there the fastest with me. I thought he was ready pretty early because he had played in the Pac-12, throwing the ball a lot. He could pretty much make every throw you wanted him to. You just had to try to prepare him situationally because he was a shootout kind of guy at Washington State. Sound familiar? Thank you. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but you don't have a choice. In other words, if you had a little better alternative, Scott Secules was Bledsoe's backup. You might have had to wait a little longer. You know it's eventual. You're just trying to protect them a little when you put them in there. The Patriots did win their final 4 games in Bledsoe's rookie season and then improved to 10-6 the next year, making the playoffs for the first time since '86. And who did they lose to? Bill Belichick and the Cleveland Browns. 2 years later, Bledsoe and Parcells made it to the Super Bowl but lost to the Packers 35-21. There was no fast track to the starting job for Phil Simms under Parcells, who benched the 3-year starter who took over for the Giants, or Tony Romo in Dallas for that matter. He said he had a kid named Scott Brunner, his first year as head coach of the Giants. He ended up playing him and he screwed that up. He talked about doing that in 1983. It was a mistake. It almost cost me Simms because he'd been there a few years and was hostile. I was lucky to have him after that. He went 8 years in a row and never missed a game. He also talks about his final stint as an NFL coach when he was with the Cowboys 03-06. Parcells signed the undrafted Romo out of Eastern Illinois that made him sit for 2 seasons. Said they immediately liked Romo, but he was a gunslinger. He played in Eastern Illinois, and they were in a lot of shootout games, 45-38 type games. He was a little indiscriminate. He didn't think about taking care of the ball that much. He just knew how to score. That's okay. But if I'd put him in right away, I don't think he would have been successful. There's a lot that goes into the decision like that. So any advice for Patriots fans, Shaughnessy asked Parcells? Should they be patient to wait for May? I don't have any advice for New England fans. I'm too smart to give them advice. Come on, Tuna. I want to know what the Tuna thinks. You know what I think the Tuna thinks? I think he likes Jacoby Brissett. He's one of the reasons why the Patriots drafted Jacoby Brissett, from his relationship with him.
Yeah, he's like the reason he went to NC State, right? Like they've had a relationship for a long time, so he's obviously a Brissett guy.
He didn't say it, though.
He's too smart to say it, Joe.
What does that tell you?
He knows the media in this town will just twist his words anyways.
That's true, too. Because that's something Bill Belichick said recently. He said that a long time ago he gave a truthful answer and it ended up like getting back at one of the players, and that's why he told him nothing. Good for you know what, Dan Shaughnessy? I got to tell you, bro, I like you. You're always welcome on the show. Friend of the program. Great mentor. Calling guys like this is what we need in this league. Is what we need in radio, or in the media. Him saying I'm too smart to give them advice, he knows. He knows the crafts. He knows the fan base. He knows who the right guy should be. He has a relationship with the guy who should be starting. He also probably understands the other guy has been in one of those offenses in college. I got to tell you, good Dan Shaughnessy's been on a roll. He got Irv Grousbeck, right? Called into our show one night. Now he's got the Tuna on the line, on the hook. But he can't reel him in. He's casting it out there. Trying to get that answer from the Tuna. He did mention, though, that he thought Tony Romo was ready. And you know what's funny? What's the one thing you remember about Tony Romo's guys?
The fumble.
There you go. After scoring a touchdown, right?
Jessica Simpson.
But I mean the fumble.
The fumble. The fumble. You're right.
No, the fumble. But Parcells talked about it.
His hat with no logos on it.
That's true, too. Never trust a guy like that. Never, ever, ever, ever trust a guy like that. Love this story. I love the Tuna. Oh, that guy was great.
We didn't get too many Parcells thoughts when Bill was in charge, did we? Did we have anybody reaching out to him saying, what do you think about what Bill's doing? Kind of interesting, right? Bill's gone. We're getting Parcells' thoughts back on the team.
My humble opinion, which means nothing. I just am the host of this show. I think Parcells hates Kraft. What happened to Parcells? Had to cook the dinner, but couldn't shop for the groceries, right? What happened at the end of Belichick's run? Started putting the clamps on that grocery order, right?
You think there might have been a text from Bill to Bill saying, "I told you so"?
Yeah. You know what's funny? Remember that the two Bills? I kind of like that documentary.
Yeah,
it
was fine.
Let's go look at the Jets locker room, and Bill's like, Belichick's like, no, I'm not going in there. That's how I know he hates the Jets. But I'll tell you, who hates Kraft more, Belichick? This could be a good one for an articles, guys, or a poll. Who hates Robert Kraft more, Bill Belichick or Bill Parcells? I won't take calls on it. Maybe we'll ask Taylor Kyles. I don't know if he'll know. I know he's not from around here, so I don't know if he knows exactly, but who hates Kraft more? That could be a headline at 985thesportshub.com.
I just like the timing. Don't remember too many Bill Parcells thoughts articles when Belichick was in charge.
How about this one, Scats? Who screwed the Patriots more? Parcells or Belichick?
What did Parcells do? The roster was loaded, wasn't it?
Parcells called the Jets the night before the Super Bowl for the job.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about the roster he left him.
And then Curtis Martin left with him.
I'll take the trade-off. You can have him and Curtis Martin. I'll take what happened here.
You'll take the 6 Super Bowls?
Yeah, I think I'll take that one. I think I'm all right with what happened.
Just want you to know, though, that did happen. Like, the night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, John Gruden did the same thing, basically, right?
That's true. And then Tony Dungy came in to clean up, just like Bill Belichick claiming to clean up the pieces from Pete Carroll. Funny how all of those guys won championships, though, huh?
Yeah, that Parcells roster, I think he did all right. He left the cupboard pretty full. That roster was loaded.
Belichick did not leave the cupboard full. Ooh, what are they talking about here? On Family Feud here, the wrestling edition.
From Wheel of Fortune to Family Feud. Welcome to the Joe Murray Show.
I wish they put in the bottom like what the question was. And I want to say it's name a game you play at a table amongst family. Uno, Go Fish, Blackjack. It's another game.
War?
Oh, War. Yeah, it's a good one. We used to play a game called Spit.
Gin Rummy?
Oh, Gin Rummy. Yeah, that was a good one. Well, Steve Harvey's laughing about one of their answers. Hang on before I got to tell you. Oh, no, they got the X. One more. Come on. I need the answer before we go to break. Come on, Steve Harvey. They're all clapping. Gin Rummy. Yes. Yes, guys. Gin Rummy. There's one more on the board. Can't go to break until this thing gets answered. So if they get one more X, it goes to the women. Let's go. One more game. I don't know the category, but what's the other game? Here we go. Solitaire! Yes! All right, we're going to talk to Taylor Kyles coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz is here. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. Talk a little about Pats. We just went over that Dan Shaughnessy article talking to the tuna, Bill Parcells, about when to start a young quarterback. I know a bunch of guys have been at camp. One of them is Taylor Kyles. He is from CLNS. He's joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Taylor, how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing well, buddy. Thank you for having me again.
I appreciate you, man. I see you all over tele. You look like a man that should be on television. I got to admit that.
Stop. None of that.
Nah, you look
Go
like
for radio, baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I learned a long time ago. I'm like, I got a face for radio. Sometimes they put me on TV, and I'm like, oh, geez, it kind of adds a few more pounds. But here's how I want to start tonight. What will be the Patriots' identity this season?
I think they're going to be very similar to some of the early Tom Brady teams. They're going to be teams that try to win at least with strong defense, complementary special teams ideally, and a strong run game that takes a lot of the pressure off of its young quarterback. Now, obviously, no one's comparing Drake May to Tom Brady, but he is a guy where ideally, especially in these West Coast offenses, you'd like to be able to give your quarterback a lot of layups and not make things as difficult as, some more advanced offenses where it's a ton of just straight drop-back pass games. So I think it's going to be, the kind of team that Gerard Mayo wants, where you're a tough team, you're a physical team, and you try to bully the other guys. But as we also know, they don't really have the firepower quite yet to be more than that in terms of a passing game.
So when I say identity, I get it, right? On the field, they're probably going to be a defensive-minded, run the football, etc. But is the real identity that new coach, an offensive coordinator that is fighting for a job, let's call it like what it is, a guy that needs to prove something, but is that what it's going to be on a weekly basis? Is how do you evaluate Gerard Mayo? How do you evaluate Alex Van Pelt, or even Covington for that matter, or even the special teamers? Like, how are we going to know when we can evaluate and be fair to the team this year?
Well, I think this year every week is going to be about development. Like, did they get better? Now, with the kind of plan where, it's year zero for them, it's barely year one because you understand they are so far behind. So if you want to know how you can judge them, if there's a week where they really struggled in one department, if it's, pre-snap penalties or what have you, you'd want to see the next week, okay, they had a flag thrown on them, but it wasn't quite as many, or you at least saw the coaching staff try to make adjustments to make the passing attack better. It's got to be incremental growth. So, this may not be the kind of team that obviously wins 9 or more games or anything like that, but I think you do want to see, hey, the defense was good like we expected. There weren't a whole lot of points on the board from the other team, and the offense at least was able to get better at things that maybe they struggled with earlier on.
All right, what are you seeing out there that you think the Patriots are doing well? And I know the offensive line's having issues, but what are they doing well? What should Patriots fans look forward to? I think we all know it's somewhat of a rebuilding year, but is there anything you're seeing that, maybe if they do this right, they might not be that bad?
So in the whole Drake May discussion, I think it needs to be made very clear that you never want to start a guy too early. So I say this with some caution. But one thing that's really standing out for me in practices is that Drake May looks poised. He looks more confident by the day. And I think you're also seeing his aggressiveness and anticipation grow as camp progresses. Earlier on, we were seeing him take more conservative approaches, which you could understand, but the offense did feel kind of restrained, and it felt like there wasn't a whole lot of fireworks or even really just aggressiveness that a defense had to respect. But last week, I think we've really started to see him try to take advantage of more downfield windows. But the rest of the offense is still a work in progress. There's miscommunications. There's times where guys don't seem like they're on the same page. So the things I think that are going to be the bread and butter, still a work in progress. But if you're looking for something to get excited about as a Patriots fan, Drake May is looking as advertised.
All right, so I was going to hold off on the QB thing because I personally don't think there's a competition. I think Gerard Mayo is trying to send a message to Jacoby Brissett, right? They gave him the $8 million. They've already basically have told him he's going to be the starter. He's been in this type of spot before. So I think everything that they're playing up right now is more of a, hey, Jacoby Brissett, get it together. This kid looks good. I agree with you. I'm excited for Drake May, but When you look at the roster, forget about the way the two quarterbacks are playing. And what I mean by it is the schedule. When you look at the schedule, I mean, how could you throw a rookie quarterback out with those first four teams, not to mention going on the road, national television in some of those games? I just think that's the spot for Jacoby Brissett. I'm not buying a QB competition right now.
Well, Gerard Mayo said it himself. The best way to get better at football is by playing football. And there isn't a whole lot that they said about Drake May that makes you think they're really going to coddle him. They've mentioned how at UNC, where he really didn't have a great supporting cast, he made everyone around him better. They talk about his mental toughness. You know, he's raised with all these brothers and a competitive family and all this. They don't seem to think that mentally he's going to shy away from that kind of challenge. But at the same time, like you mentioned, he is going to be in some tough environments, like you're opening in Cincy with a playoff caliber team. You don't want to send him out there if you don't think that, you know, the rest of the team is going to benefit because he can't get the pre-snap communication in. The play calls are a challenge. He's getting delayed game penalties. He can't execute when the situation is most difficult. Those are the times where I think you should hold off. But I also think at some point, and I feel like we're starting to see it, Drake May is going to look so much better than Jacoby. Even his teammates are going to say, okay, what are we doing here? Like, we want to win games too. We're not on your schedule. I want to win this year, and Drake May gives me the best opportunity to do that. I really do think we're going to see him before October. Maybe not week 1, but I do think before October.
All right, I'll go with you on that one. I'm talking to Taylor Kyles. He is from CLNS. How do they approach this final preseason game? And does Drake May have to be the starter in this one? Is that something that they're at least looking at? Does he even need to start to be prepared if at some point he does start this season? Should they attempt to do that in a preseason game?
So we actually have seen him work with a David Andrews-led offensive line and some of the more starting caliber receivers in each of the past 2 preseason games. That hasn't translated to practice, but we have seen him mix in with pretty much every starter that isn't David Andrews in practice. And Gerard Mayo also mentioned it is important for him to get some time with and build chemistry with the receivers and linemen that he could be playing with if he became the starter. Now, I still think we're going to see Jacoby Brissett. Gerard Mayo told us everyone who's healthy will play. And frankly, the Jacoby Brissett-led offense hasn't been good enough in these past 2 preseason games for them to take a night off. So I think we'll probably see a very similar approach because if Jacoby is your starter, or even if he isn't, you want to see a lot of Drake May so you have more tape to go off of because he's probably not going to be getting the same quality reps in the next few days of practice. So I still think it'll be maybe a couple of drives of Jacoby Brissett, maybe a total like 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters for Drake May, and then close it out with a couple Joe Milton drives and then one more for Bailey Zappi.
My boy Zappi. Not looking good for him, huh?
It's honestly unfortunate. I think it's the best summer that he's had since I've been on the beat, at least. I think he really does look solid, although we had a rough practice the last time we were there. But now there's just so much talent on the roster between Drake and Joe, and then obviously Jacoby having his role kind of locked in. It's unfortunate because I really do think he belongs on a roster. There's too many quarterbacks in this room.
I've always felt that way, Taylor. Last year I was all over it. I didn't think the gap was that big between him and Mac Jones. I was ridiculed for it, but I won that one. I'm gonna take the W on that one.
Take it, bud. You deserve it.
That's right. But this year, I think he's going down. Taylor, let's talk defense. Is it going to is it going to look the same? Are there any tweaks in there? We saw what it looked like without Matthew Judon last year when he was injured. So I'm kind of fine with them moving on from him. And by the way, I think it was a win for both teams personally. But yeah, Keon White's now. What's his role? Is he hand down defensive end? Is he the elephant? What type of role is he going to play as far as like a defensive end goes? Hand on the ground, or can he do both?
So you expect him to be someone who lines up all over. I kind of broke it down in a little Twitter thread where against the Eagles he lined up pretty much everywhere you could imagine. But when it comes to where he's best, he even admitted that he does his best work when he's inside and kind of trying to push the pocket and create some disruption there. We saw that plenty against Philly. Where he wants to get better is when he's on the edge and pass rushing there, because he knows that everybody else knows power is where he wants to go when he's on the edge, but he's got to get better with his hands, give them other things to worry about to really excel and be the kind of pass rusher that he can be with this freakish skill set. So Keon White's not going to line up in just one place. He's going to be everywhere. Obviously, they're going to need him. But I also think to supplement the loss of Judon and with Christian Barmore being out indefinitely, Gerard Mayo mentioned when they didn't have a Chandler Jones or a Matt Judon, they relied on their line games, right? The Kyle Van Noy, Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins, those guys just looping around, creating havoc when you have no idea where they're going to end up. I think we're going to see a little more of that from this defense to try to compensate for the lack of star power they've got up front.
All right, so far we what we've seen in preseason is they've been pretty good against the run. I have a little bit of a concern when it comes to stopping the run for this team, and what I mean by that is, let's say it's White and Wise on the outside. Godchaux's been a very good run stuffer, but what if they do go with the third safety or a nickel or something to that degree? Will teams try to run on the Patriots, and could they have some issues being a little bit smaller on the defensive end?
I think the last thing that they really want to do is run on the Patriots, because if it's going to be a run situation, you're usually going to have Anthony Jennings on the field. The reason he got re-signed is he was one of, if not the best run-stopping edge defenders in football. Like you mentioned, you still got Devon Godchaux inside. Also, Mike Purcell, the guy that they signed after Christian Barmore, he's nothing like Barmore in terms of the explosiveness and, he can do everything. But you've seen it in the preseason. He's a really stout run defender. And they got my boy Jeremiah Farms, who I don't know if people are really starting to catch on to, but know his name. He's been a really fun guy to watch this preseason. So I don't think they're light up front. I really think the last thing you want is to run on this front. I think you want to force them to have to try to get after you as a pass rush and prove that they can have the chemistry and, the awareness to actually win strategically rather than just having to do it one-on-one.
I'm sure that's one thing, like covering the team, is knowing a little bit of the background of these guys. Farms, right? The kid played all over. They developed him, played in different leagues. Anthony Jennings was one of the better players on Alabama, got hurt in the championship game. I don't think he's been right probably since middle of last year. So, I mean, just the fact that they stuck with him and you see what he's doing now, I think he's starting to play like that guy that was at Alabama and had all those projections here. So, although there might be low expectations on the field, they have certainly developed a lot of these guys to where defensively, who knows, they could play above their head this year and be big contributors.
Yeah, you can even throw Daniel Ekuale in that mix. He's not really someone that they develop by themselves, but another underrated guy who's going to play a pretty big role in this defense without Christian Barmore. Everyone thinks of him as more of just a pass rush specialist, and obviously he can definitely do that. But he's pretty stout against the run as well, and the whole reason Joshua Uche wanted to re-sign on such a cheap deal, at least what he told us, was because of the relationships and all the chemistry they have up front in that defense. So I agree. I think one of the things that you can really look forward to as a Patriots fan, if you're looking for, reasons for optimism, this defense is lacking two really big players, and there's no getting around that, but I still think they got the potential to be like a top 10, 12 unit in the league that gives you something to root for on something.
So Taylor, I'll say this. I last year I think I was hate watching, like there were games where I was just like, yep, you're going to try this, it's not going to work. This year, at least, I know that they're like a team that's, building itself up. But can you just talk about some of the additions to the coaching? Dante Hightower is someone I'm really interested in. What is he doing to the team? Like I saw him working with this Zimenez kid. I mean, he's had some time in the league before, but he's starting to look like he's breaking through a little bit. But is Hightower making an impact on the defense right now?
Honestly, it's hard to know for sure what a coach is doing for a given unit, especially for the Patriots, where they've always had pretty good inside linebackers. But that being said, it's been hard to ignore the fact that Christian Ellis and Joe Giles Harris, two kind of bubble players I don't think a lot of fans really know a lot about. They're mostly special teamers. I know Giles Harris has spent some time on the practice squad last season, but they've been having some strong preseasons. Giles Harris, I think, has baited Zappe and Milton into interceptions in practice. He's gotten his hands on 3 passes this preseason. He's been a really active defender. And then Christian Ellis, a guy I thought of as just a special teamer, even he's been out there making plays. He's been tough against the run. He's flying around. So by that measure of success, where, whatever your pupils are out there doing, it usually means that you're doing your job well. I would say that's the return on Dante Hightower, where every single person in that inside linebacker room has really performed well this preseason. And obviously you got Juwan Bentley, you got Jelani Tavai. Both guys got extended recently for a reason. They're cogs on this defense. Even Raekwon McMillan, he's a guy who can play on the line of scrimmage as well and show that versatility against Philly. So that linebacker room, very tough, very talented, and very well coached.
If McMillan could just stay healthy, man. Wow, kid can play. He's just got hurt every single year. I got 2 more things for you. I've been asking everybody this. I wrote an article about it at 985thesportshub.com. Nobody has an answer. So I'm going to ask you, who is the best player on the New England Patriots?
Oh, that's Christian Gonzalez right now. I don't really know if it's close. I think Drake May is potential he could be better, partially because of his position, but like Matt Judon was kind of the face of the franchise in the post-Tom Brady era when they didn't have the quarterback. I think that's Christian Gonzalez for the time being.
Good answer. Finally, I've been friends with John Serenides for probably 18 years, okay?
My guy.
So when we used to work in an old station in Boston, we called him Dr. Football, okay? So, like, this guy. But I saw you and him doing some sort of lineman pass blocking drills together. What? Can you explain to me what the hell was going on in that photo of you two? Were you guys really going up against each other doing pass protection?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I mean, it's barely going against him. I am his pupil. He teaches me things. Like, I want to know something about Caden Wallace and something about his hands, and John is more than happy to show me. We did it, after the Tom Brady's Patriots Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We were out there after that whole thing, and he's showing me, like, kick sets and all this stuff. I love John, man. So I am his humble pupil. He's just teaching me more about the game, and I am happy to learn, man. He's the best.
Oh, yeah, John played with Coach, you name it. Now he's New England Football Journal. It's just funny whenever I see John out there, like, actually moving a little bit. I'm like, whoa, he must be really teaching something. He must be into this. So
they might need him to play tackle at some point. They could use some depth.
Listen, I know he can snap a football. I know he can. Because you should have heard me. I was with Barth the other day. I played a little center in my day, so I was like, yeah, you can hold it from the tip. You can hold it off the laces. You can just underhand it back there. But I just don't understand how in the NFL these days, nobody else can actually snap a football. It's driving me crazy.
We got to ask David Andrews what the mechanics are in the most respectful way possible, because it has been pretty rough. Although I will say, the Pats had like 10 dropbacks in their last practice total. It wasn't a super heavy day, but there were no fumbles, and it was the first day I could remember in a while. So, baby steps maybe.
Oh, yeah. It's like now they hold it by the tip, and they just fling it back. And even now, it's funny, the other night, Patrick Mahomes and his center were talking about how they've changed the way that they did hikes back to him, because he wants it a little bit like a loft. Tom Brady liked it like that years ago. Ted Karras at the time was the center, and he would kind of like loft it up in the air. Brady loved that. So I don't know. I just hope that whoever is behind Andrews can get it back there to someone and not mess it up.
Oh, no, my co-host, our buddy Mike Cadlick, he was a big fan of the dead ball snap. That's what you're talking about for Creed Humphrey. So if it works for Mike Cadlick, I think it'll work for these guys.
Yep, Mike Cadlick, former Dedham High School quarterback, know him very well.
That's right.
And I think he has more touchdowns at Gillette Stadium so far than Drake May. I'm not sure because of that media game. Were you in that media game?
I caught the touchdown. I caught one of them.
So you have the extra touchdown over Drake May at the moment at Gillette Stadium.
I guess I do. What an honor. I like that you put it that way. I'm going to start telling people that.
Should put that in your headline on Twitter. You know what I mean?
That's going in the bio, baby.
One more touchdown than Drake May. He's Taylor Kyles, everybody. Taylor, great job, man. Always welcome on the show. And one more week to go, and then it's the regular season, my man.
Can't wait, brother. Thank you again. Good to talk to you.
Always, man. Appreciate it. He's Taylor Kyles, everyone. CLNS joining us here on 98.5. The Sports Hub does an excellent job here. And we got to get to a break. Taylor does a great job. Thank you, sir. We'll get to the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, the Sun lead the Spacs 53-50 right now. Fourth quarter. When do you think we hear from Glasheen? 9 o'clock hour? I used to call him the Sheen. 0985. But be caller number 10 right now to our contest line, which is a completely different number. You'll score a pair of tickets to see the Connecticut Sun take on the Las Vegas Aces on Friday, September 6th at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Grab your tickets now at sun.wnba.com. Caller number 10 to our contest line, 617-931-0985. You'll win that right now. And you know what we got coming up next? In or out? We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed. Back here at 98.5 The Sports. I'm in or out. I think we have a ghost in the studio right now. Sometimes, Skaz, when you push buttons on that board, it moves on that board. So I know that that's you doing that.
Yeah, it's the same board.
But this computer that's next to me, yeah. There, the thing keeps turning on and off, and then when it turns on, somebody's moving the mouse. I know Dennis is here, so
yes.
I can assume it's an IT thing. But if I didn't know that, I would think that it was spooky.
Yeah, there are times when, obviously, me and Dennis are in, I wouldn't say constant communication, but a lot of communication that I will just see a mouse moving around in a wide orbit or something back here. So, yeah, you never know who's messing around, Joe.
So I guess that would make Dennis the spookiest member of 98.5 The Sports Hub. That was a bit from a long time ago. I'm throwing shade. I'm sorry. Shady Joe. Joey Shade. Anyways, in or out? What do we got tonight, Skaz?
Joe Murray, it is a Tuesday night edition of In or Out. 2 more In or Outs for you this week. We will have 3 more as a show.
Yeah, today was fun. I don't know what happened because, I was starting Red Sox tonight, so I felt like, all right, we'll get the Red Sox out of the way. We'll get into the Patriots, but let's just get right into In or Out. We could have started the show with In or Out. We got 2 hours out of it.
Maybe next summer we'll have to do an In or Out show.
Just lead it off. All right, everybody, lead off. Phone number, YouTube, okay, but let's get right into it. It's just
play this bed for 4 hours.
But imagine the drive time people at 6 o'clock when the Red Sox season ends, and at 6:05 we just start In or Out. Do you think people would be like, "You guys do this every single night?" Yes, we do. Joey Shade, someone just called me.
Joe, we will start with football tonight on In or Out. 1, Michael Felger's hero, the man he aspires to be. 1, Mike Greenberg is set to replace Sam Ponder on Sunday NFL Countdown. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Mike Greenberg taking over for Sam Ponder?
I'm out. You know why? Because it's too square. Now, it's not Travis Kelce doing the "Are you smarter than a 5th grader" type of square. But Mike Greenberg,
talk about a guy that wants to facilitate.
Yeah, where's the take?
Where's anything?
You know what?
Where's the substance?
I'll say this. Chris Berman, say what you want about the man, was a great host, facilitator, and take maker.
He was just flat out entertaining as well.
Did his act get a little stale at times? Yes.
Heard a good Berman story from Zoe today, talking about Montana's retirement party, I believe. Sounded like he had a pretty good time.
I've heard good things about Berman. But at some point, though, isn't the back, bad winter coats? Trust me, when I grew up on that stuff, so it's to me, it's nostalgic, I gotta tell you, when I didn't aspire to be somebody in radio until I was 24 or 25. I got into radio at 25, I think I was. I'm 42 now. But there was a day where I thought I could put on the old blazer.
You wanted to be Mike Greenberg?
Well, actually, believe it or not, one of my biggest influences in radio is Mike Adams.
This is the Planet Mikey Show.
And the reason why I was in the automotive business, and he was too, yet he had a radio show. And so I go, wow, he could do that, I can do that. And he was funny. Mike Adams was a radio pro, by the way. So whatever people liked him or not, that dude was a pro. He did news talk, sports.
You could say he was before his time almost with some of his.
Plus, he was a bit guy.
Yes,
he could do really good bits. And Maury Levine, who now runs NBC Sports Boston, was his intern, and the stuff he made him do back in the day on New England Cable News. Mike Adams' Sports World at night was amazing. Do you know who his main guest was a lot? Ted Sarandis. But again, I would watch that and then Welcome Back Kotta at Nick at Night. Wow. Did I just say Welcome Back Kotta?
There's that accent slipping in.
Wow. Anyways, Berman was a big influence. Have we even done in or out yet?
Mike Greenberg, NFL Countdown.
Out!
Replacing Sam Ponder.
You could have put somebody else in that chair. Me. You could put anyone else there. I'm Keith Jackson. Whoa, Nelly, the sophomore from Alabama.
All right, Joe, we'll stick with football. It is the world of NIL and college sports now, and Oklahoma State is taking it to the next level. They will have players wearing QR codes on the back of their helmets that link to donation pages for their NIL collective. Joe Murray, are you in or out on QR codes on the helmets?
I'm in on this. Okay, do you remember the kid that was at College Game Day who put his Venmo on there?
Oh, yeah.
I need beer
That's
money.
a great move. Yeah, that happens a couple times a year.
Top notch.
I've seen like stickers like around, just like, you know, on a light post or something that just someone's Venmo.
I make cards. I make custom cards.
Should we make a bumper sticker with your Venmo on it or something?
You know,
just drive around.
I'll share an inside story. I was at an event this week where these wrestlers made a card of one Andy Wong of the Kowloon. I got the card. I walked up to Andy and I said, I need you to autograph this and I need you to write first. Because it'd be like his Bowman's first, you know?
Andy Wong first edition.
That's right.
We need a rookie card.
That's right. So I then put it in a hard top, and I have sent it to the slabbed company, and they are going to slab that. Now, should I send it to PSA and get it graded? I don't know. But anyways, long story short is I'm in on this, and on those cards that I make, on the back, I have a QR code that goes to where? Pay me. Joe me the money. So I am in. Listen, if I could put a QR code on this YouTube chat right now for everything we said that was funny or gave out free bets, in. You think we'd do okay? Like every time Skaz played a good drop or something, ching ching. You know, the Cash App goes off and you hear it. What do you think, chat? In or out on that?
Maybe it's a little too easy to heavily influence that one.
Well, when we had Twitch, I used to get a lot of hot dogs.
Oh, there were hot dogs. Yeah, too many hot dogs on Twitch. I probably still got a couple thousand of them.
Yeah, I bet you if I go back into my Twitch, I have a lot of hot dogs in there.
Which I'm still not entirely sure what that means.
I don't get it either. At least they weren't eggplants, you know?
All right. Let's head to a topic tailor-made for the Joe Murray Show. That is, a food truck in the UK is offering its customers seagull insurance with their meals in case the pesky birds happen to take off with their food. Hawkins Barbecue, located in the tiny Isle of Man, is offering...
Where?
The Isle of Man, Joe. One of the best flags out there. If you're looking at good country flags.
Where is that?
It's a very small island.
Like where? Like...
UK.
Okay.
Yes,
UK.
yeah.
Okay.
It's I think
across the pond.
I don't know if Dua Lipa's from there, born there, something like that. But yeah, Isle of Man, great flag. But for $1.30, Joe, you can get seagull insurance. The small fee guarantees customers a full replacement of their meal if a seagull happens to fly off with one of their juicy barbecue sandwiches and loaded fries. They are also going to donate the insurance policy to a wildlife trust. Joe Murray, are you in or out on seagull insurance?
So I'm in. I'm in on this, and now it makes me think of something else. I was out of state for the 4th of July weekend. I went to an ice cream place. The person was given a cone, and when they walked away, the cone, the ice cream fell off the cone and onto the ground. The people that worked at the ice cream stand wanted to charge them for another one. And I go, no. You made the cone that way.
Is it Many Saints of Newark or something? I haven't seen that yet, but yeah.
I'm not completely out on that movie, but it sucked. Like, I think I could have wrote it better. I mean that.
How did you feel about the Breaking Bad
El Camino?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I loved it.
Oh, so much better than...
Yeah.
All right.
El Camino. So, for those who watched Breaking Bad, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, but obviously you know that one of the people was left in the lab and one of them got away. El Camino is about how that one got away, which also bleeds into Better Call Saul, which was the prequel of Breaking Bad. So let's just say that El Camino's hitting on 3 different levels there. El Camino was great. Again, I'm a huge fan of the series. I'm a huge fan of The Sopranos. Did not like The Many Saints of Newark.
All right, Joe, we will head to KFC for this one. This is something I saw earlier today on Twitter, and that is that KFC is partnering up with Kraft and releasing a mac and cheese chicken sandwich. Looks like there's mac and cheese below and above the piece of chicken, in between 2 buns. Joe Murray, are you in or out on a mac and cheese chicken sandwich?
And I've had some time to think about this. We could debate who has the best chicken sandwich. It's debatable. You might have your favorite, I have mine. But let's just understand that if there is mac and cheese on a chicken sandwich, it is going to be unbelievable. Now, you can only get this in Canada. Extra cremois. I want the extra creamy, extra cremois Kraft dinner mac and cheese on the top. And what a nice little bun that's on there, too. You see it? Nice little, just a, what kind of roll would you call that? Like, that's a tasty bun. You know what else I'd wish? Can they put a little bit of mac and cheese on the top and the bottom?
That's kind of what it looked like from the picture.
Always. Top and bottom. But there is a photo of this. I can share it if you'd like. I'm going to tell you. It's one of the best things I've seen. You get a nice battered up chicken breast patty. And then you put mac and cheese on top. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with that? Oh, and a delicious bun. See, you know what I'm out on? Soggy buns. I don't think the mac and cheese would make it soggy, do you? Here's another thing. I don't want that. You know how you buy like a burger at Wendy's or whatever, and they wrap it? That thing needs to be in a clamshell. Or the KFC box. You know the KFC box that it comes in? That thing can't be wrapped. That's got to be boxed or clamshelled. But I'm telling you, this is one of the better ideas I've seen in a long, long, long time. Breaded chicken with mac and cheese on top with a wonderful, wonderful...
One of the better ideas you've seen in a long, long time?
It's so simple. It's so great. It's better than the fudge whatever we saw the other night.
You take this over the Coca-Cola Oreos?
Yeah.
Or the Dr. Pepper Krispy Kreme donut?
Absolutely. Just a chicken breast breaded with mac and cheese and a bun.
Seems like something you could do at home.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Guys, some of the greatest things in the world are so simple. This is just a simplicity of beauty.
Kind of disappointed it's only in Canada. This feels like a very American item.
Creamy. It looks so good. Just a combo. You could order like a crispy strips meal. Came with a wedge and a biscuit, and then you can get 3 tacos on the side too. It's like $9.99. Oh. Those were the days, man. But this chicken sandwich, I'm telling you, dude, it's so easy. It's so good. It looks so good. I bet you it's mouth-watering.
It seems to be already, Joe, just from the picture.
Sorry, I got lost there for a minute. You ever see the Fresh Prince when they ask, Uncle Phil about the food, and he goes, "Oh, and the mashed potatoes." Oh, by the way, KFC's got great mashed potatoes and gravy. So I do like the biscuits a lot at KFC, but man, you ever had their popcorn chicken? Love the popcorn chicken. Great gravy too. I haven't had KFC in a long time, man.
You're just reminiscing.
I don't think I've ever seen a fast food chicken sandwich with mac and cheese on it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
You gonna be heading north of the border?
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. I might want to just do this on my own. So I like Kraft mac and cheese. Don't get me wrong, but
there's a content idea right there. Joe, can we get 300 words? Joe Murray makes
Joe on the go.
Joe on the go makes a KFC chicken mac and cheese chicken sandwich at his house.
No, I would get my own. I would get a chicken breast, flour, egg. I'd beat the crap out of the chicken with a mallet. Put plastic over it first. Then flour, egg. And fry it. I gotta find a good bun. Maybe like a Hawaiian bun. What about cheese? Is the mac and cheese enough, or should you put a slice of cheese on there?
Joe, you were just preaching the simplicity. Now we're gonna start messing with it.
Why? No, I just had to ask.
I think you gotta keep it simple.
What about a piece of cheese on the bottom bun?
Out.
Do we have any more in or outs?
I think that's gonna do it for a Tuesday night edition of In or Out.
Oh. Sometimes just so simple, so good. I talked to Jeremy about this one night. The Jeremy Conley. I never really had an egg on a burger before.
Hangover burger.
And I had one recently, and I was like, this is amazing. But you know what? It made my bread soggy. So I'm out on soggy bread.
You're big on bun integrity, is what you're telling us.
I want to... Nope, can't do it. I want one that holds it all in. I don't want a loose one. I want a nice... We gotta go to the headlines here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBC-FM and HD Boston. Patriots! It's an all-new season for the Patriots. Wow. You'll hear it all right here.
Yes.
Your home of the past. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
4-4 right now. Red Sox 3-3. Now it's 4-4. Jaron Duran, an RBI single to make it 4-4 in this one. The over already hit, so there you go. Nick Pivetta, 3 innings, 4 earned, 1 strikeout, 48 pitches already. Patriots gearing up for Sunday's game against Washington. Jaden Daniels will be the starter. Pats made a couple of moves today. Matt Landers, he's a wide receiver. He played at 3 schools. Jaquan Jackson, he scored a touchdown, but he's on injured reserve. Kobe Jones and Christian McCarroll. Who? Have you ever heard of those guys before? For real. And the Connecticut Sun, they have defeated the LA Sparks 69-61. Headlines. They are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray, and I'm going to Canada.
Boston, the greatest sports town in America.
We have a farm. I have about 200 pigs here.
We got to spill beers on each other without worrying about spilling beers on people.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. What else goes good with mac and cheese, guys? Pulled pork? Love pulled pork.
I just think of like being a kid, it was always like mac and cheese and a hot dog. Cut up hot dog. You know, like 10 years old.
Now the kids get it in a cup where you have to just put a little water in it and it just like heats up. My favorite kind of mac and cheese. This I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Annie's? You ever had Annie's? Oh. It's like a white cheddar cheese. Little noodles. What would you rather, the Kraft extra crema or the Annie white cheddar? Oh. I'm reading the chat right now, and people are like, keep it PG, Joe, will you? Oh. Pork belly. Braided short rib. Annie's white cheddar. Brisket. Buffalo. Oh, what about a buffalo chicken macaroni and cheese? Like a nice buffalo chicken with mac and cheese. What were we going to do here? What does our rundown say? 9:20? Oh, Bill Belichick's coaching tree. Why don't we do that on the other side? I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.
And put some barbecue sauce on it. So you got barbecue, you got buffalo patties and put barbecue on it? Kind of, aren't you like perpetrating? Anyways, that chicken sandwich, man, I'm still thinking about that thing.
Thought we were going to lose you there for a little bit.
Yeah. I thought about that for a while. Someone is emailing me right now about the mac and cheese chicken sandwich. I don't like emails, but you know what? You emailed me, so. This is from Colin Donahue. So here in Worcester, we have a new takeout food place that's really blowing up. Went from a truck near the Red Sox Stadium. They have a fried chicken, but they have a fried chicken sandwich with mac and cheese on it on a Hawaiian bun. It's delicious. Nothing else on it, just the sauce. Okay, I'll be in Worcester this Saturday, sir. I'll be at Polar Park. I'm doing a card show there. It's called Ziggy. I know that. I've been to Ziggy's. They're actually opening one up locally here, I believe. I also heard they make a poo-poo platter sub. In or out on that, Skaz? On a sub.
Yeah, I'd try it, I guess.
Like boneless ribs, crab rangoons, chicken
No lot
fingers.
going on.
Yeah, I would actually take off the sandwich and eventually eat it. But again, I used to be a man who didn't eat any bread. Now I'm not torturing myself anymore. Hey, we're going to talk to Brendan Glasheen coming up in a little bit. He's the voice of the Sun, who won tonight, right? 69-61.
Big fourth quarter comeback.
Yeah.
Place was packed out. It looked awesome.
Oh, no, it did look awesome. I got to give you that.
Drew Holiday and Lauren Holiday in the building. Couple gold medal winners.
The WNBA in Boston.
It almost feels like their relationship with the Sun is going to, keep a team from being in Boston. Like the Sun are the Boston team, basically.
You know what, though? It's 2 hours away.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's good.
It's a night at the casino. Like, to me, I feel like it's Boston going. It's almost like it's like the minor league Red Sox, right? You go to Portland, you go to Worcester. It's helping their area. I mean, not for nothing, but how many people are going to Pawtucket?
I loved McCoy.
No offense to anybody from Pawtucket.
A lot easier for me to get down there than to get out to Polar Park.
Listen, back in the day, I could slam beers at McCoy Stadium. No, that was a beer slamming place. Nowhere else a beer slamming place? The Brockton Rocks.
Well, many a time over there.
I mean, I've slammed beers. Don't know who anybody is, just chatting it up. Beautiful night.
I think I saw Oil Can Boyd there one time.
Yeah, he pitched. Yeah, that's right, he did. I told you about the time I talked to Bill Buckner. I had to ask him. I said, Bill, what happened, man? What happened against the Mets in the 86 World Series? And everybody was like, I can't believe you asked him. But I don't know. What else do you ask Bill Buckner, rest in peace? What else do you ask him? What do you want to talk to him about? The chicken sandwich with mac and cheese? I asked him about the error that happened. And everybody was all bent out of shape about it. And he handled it with grace. He goes, well, Joe, that's been covered before. And I said, thank you.
Was this pre or post him on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
That was pre.
Would have loved to ask him about that.
Yeah, it was pre. It was before he was welcomed back. I want to say it was like 2010. But I mean, hey, Joe, you're going to Bill Buckner. Okay, cool. Like, what was I not going to ask him? Am I a jerk for asking him? Tom's in Quincy. Hey, Tom.
Yo, what's up, man? Hey, I just had to kind of chat you about my recipe for mac and cheese, man. Like, this is probably why I've gained like 50 pounds in 3 years, but when you're feeling the mood, I love to mix the Annie's mac and cheese, white cheddar with the shells, with the Cheetos, whatever hot and cheesy mac and cheese. Mix them together, add some pepperoni, maybe a Slim Jim. Call it a day, boy. All right, man, that's all I got.
Now, Joe, I know you're out on, mixing sauces and, mixing dipping sauces. Are you in or out on mixing mac and cheeses?
So let me just understand it.
Let's break it down.
Get my pen.
Yeah, get out the paper.
Okay, so the Annie's. Okay, and he's mixing it with the hot the Cheetos hot. Cheetos hot. Now, what kind of macaroni are they using? With
I think
he
said
hot?
it was the Annie shells.
So I know it's Annie shells. What's the Cheetos? Because we can't go shell in like macaroni.
You can't. That's too much for you?
Well, I just feel like that's a different texture.
You're the expert, Joe.
All right, let's take the macaroni out of it. The Cheetos hot with the Annie's cheddar, and you mix it. So now you got cheddar cheese hot.
Yeah, I'm out.
Now they're gonna throw in a Slim Jim.
I think salami, pepperoni. I think he said.
Okay, pepperoni. Okay. There's a lot of spice going on there.
The chat is saying that Cheetos mac and cheese are spirals.
Spirals. So I got spirals and shells. Can't mix that.
That's where you draw the line?
I wonder how JP feels about this. JP in North Providence. Has there been a time in my life where I've mixed different kind of macaronis? Yes. Because sometimes you run out of the box, right? Oh, no. Oh, Madonna. No, I like Fusilli the most, but I'm the Cavatappi Poppy over here. I love Cavatappi. But if we run out of Cavatappi and all we got is rigatonis, we're going to have a mix of rigatoni Cavatappi, which can sometimes really throw it off. So that's why I say that's a problem. I wonder if the creamy kind of mellows down the spice. I don't feel like you need to add the Roni or the Slim Jim. But he said he gained how much? 50 pounds? Yeah, bro, that's a lot of carbs. Cheese and carbs? You want to gain weight? There you go. Anything else? I haven't read the chat, but I wrote it down, though. Annie's, Cheetos, pepperonis, and Slim Jims. I think I'm out. I think I would like just the Annie's, just the Cheetos, eat the pepperoni straight, and maybe snap into a Slim Jim. What are we going to talk about here?
Belichick's coaching tree. Almost got there. Yeah, Brendan Glasheen looking very dapper right now, doing NBC Boston postgame. Oh, yeah. Looking good.
Yeah, he's going to join us in a little bit, I guess, huh?
Yes, I've been texting with him. He's doing his hit now. He'll be on with us shortly. Told him take his time.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break? We'll talk about that coaching tree.
Maybe.
Then we got the Musings. Coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox now a 5-4 lead. Tristan Casas homered earlier. Now an RBI single. He was very upset early on because he, the old pitch. right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Where did the show go off the rails tonight? Was it the chicken sandwich? I've gotten so much feedback on this.
It's always the chicken sandwich, Joe.
My friend over at the Great American Beer Hall, that's going to be opening soon in Medford, just wrote to me, Annie's with breadcrumbs. Oh. I love Annie's. Annie's with a good pork chop. You know what my favorite pork chop is? Trader Joe's makes this coffee rub. They only make it, I bought a bunch of it because it's only like seasonal. But you put this coffee rub all over the pork chop. I bake it. Then I make the Annie's. Oh, I dip the pork chop in the Annie's. When's the last time you had pork chops and applesauce? Like, I haven't had I don't think I've had applesauce because, like, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah, I've had a pork chop. I think I had one last night.
But applesauce.
Not applesauce, yeah.
Come on, now that would be... A pork chop with Annie's and applesauce now?
Where did the pork chop talk come from?
I actually don't know. I think I was thinking of Annie's and what I eat Annie's with. You can air fry a pork chop too. We're gonna get to more sports talk. I'm sorry, but the man I wanted to know was mixing pastas. His name is JP. He's from North Providence.
Joe,
how do you feel about that?
Joe, it's bad enough since I started joining on the chat. I get home 3 hours later than when I get off the train now because I can't drive and got to stay in the damn chat. And I got to hear you say you're mixing different pastas. You can mix nuts together in a bowl. You can mix your cereals together. Please don't ever say when I'm listening you're going to mix pasta together. You can't. You always, if you're a true Italian, you have a backup box of pasta in the cupboard. You always have 2 boxes of the same pasta, Joe. So please don't ever say that. I almost went off 95.
No, I want you to know the only time I ever do it is when I run out of cavatappi. I got to go to the rigatoni.
Joe, you got to plan ahead. So I'm sorry, Joe.
Well, listen, I'm a box pasta guy.
Well, you know, you could try vendor ravioli up on a hill, Joe. You get the real thing. But if you don't, I like Cavati's. That's me.
Question.
And I got to tell you, Joe, we went back to Petrillo's last weekend again. My new favorite home.
Wow.
Joe, stuffed raviolis with figs and a white cream sauce. I was sounding like you on the radio describing what you were eating. I'm in the restaurant. Oh, my God. Joe, that's heaven. It's heaven in Peabody. That's what it should be called.
It's a family secret there. But if you ever get a chance and you go a little earlier, they make pizza. It's not on the menu.
I saw that.
But if you ever get a slice of their pizza,
Joe, if I mention your name, I could get anything I want there, Joe. I'm telling you. Thank you so much. But it is the best. I'm sorry.
It's the best.
It is the best ravioli I've ever had in my life, Joe.
Wow. What is your favorite pasta?
Oh, Cavati's.
Okay.
I love a Cavati because I don't want to stick my fork through the hole. I don't want spaghetti going flying all over me. Give me some Cavati's. If you do it in a cream sauce or a bolognese sauce for a little change. Second, it's Alfredo. Got to be hot. Those of us from Rhode Island remember Mr. Marco. You only went there for one thing, the fettuccine Alfredo, Joe.
Do you put broccoli in that?
Excuse me? What are we getting? Are you running me off the highway again? Joe, no, Joe, no broccoli. I put broccoli with my steak tips or something. No.
You don't do like a chicken ziti broccoli like combination?
If it comes out of the box that way, I'm not getting it in a restaurant.
What about a carbonaro? Do you like a peas? I do peas and like bacon.
No, but I'll tell you something. Growing up, you get little meatballs or green beans and a red sauce, Joe. Oh, Old school Italian restaurants have it. Hey, I got a tip for the macaroni and cheese. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
And one of the guys did it with the chili ones. Fritos. You can do anything you want with Fritos. You can crumble them up. You can throw them on a salad. You can bake them.
I've pankoed Fritos before.
Oh, there you go, Joe. Great night as always.
Do you know what else I do? Yeah,
any damn thing you want at night, Joe, because it's the Joe Show.
Anything goes. Every once in a while, if I run out of like a Tostito or like some sort of like chip to dip, the Fritos scoop is an excellent dipper.
Of course. It doesn't break. It doesn't stab you in between your teeth. It's fantastic, Joe. You got to go old school with the Fritos. You do whatever you want with those bad boys. There you go. You can make a chicken sandwich with them, Joe. I'm telling you. You can put them in your grilled cheese. I don't care what you want to do. You put them anywhere you want, Joe.
So you take the train home and listen to the show? You're just chatting on the train?
I sit in friggin' Westwood for 2 hours because I'm on the damn chat at the train station. Then I finally leave and I hit Taco Bell for another hour and a half. Listen to the rest of the chat.
The Frito burrito. You ever had that before?
Absolutely. Now you got me. Route 1 in Norwood. You'll see me in the parking lot.
I know exactly where that is because that was the only Taco Bell we had growing up. So we used to drive up to Walpole, actually, is where it is.
That's right. You're going to bang that hard right into the parking lot down the hill with a quick left between the parking cone things.
There used to be an old country buffet in there.
Yeah, they got the market there now. I think it's an Aldi's or something.
Yeah, but back in the day, though, they had a Dream Machine arcade, an old country buffet, and then like one of the best candy stores.
Oh, I used to be in on buffet till my kids decided they weren't using utensils to go help themselves every time. We got thrown out of Ponderosa. That's another story.
Stay tuned to the Musings tonight. I might have something on that tonight.
Hey, how about that quarterback talk, Joe? We don't want to get too random. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Which quarterback talk?
Oh.
Is that what you're doing back there, Skaz?
Oh.
You're just getting everyone's moans tonight? Do you know what today was? I now know what's going on. I've pankoed Fritos before.
Oh.
I know what it is. Oh. Today was like the first day of fall, right? Didn't today feel like football weather in fall?
Oh, it was beautiful. Taking the dog out this morning, just hit right in the face with some football weather.
But you get what I'm saying? What do you do when you watch football? Oh. What do? You make a dip, right? Or you have some sort of, we're going to watch football today and eat, right?
Oh.
Yes. So I think that's what's going on. I think that it's like a mind over matter type thing where it's like it feels like fall. So, you now start thinking of, what could we eat to watch the game today? How about chicken patties and mac and cheese?
Oh.
Oh.
Usually it's just Joe that partakes, but we've been having a lot of callers get in on it as well lately.
Skaz is the moan collector, not the bone collector.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
You know what we have coming up next?
No, Joe, I have no idea at this point. Just holding on for dear life back here.
Oh.
Oh.
We got the Musings, Murray's Musings, coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
You want a random take? Murray's got all sorts of stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man.
Stuff. Red Sox, can they make it to September? Their late game woes. The Fangraph odds. The Patriots identity. Mike Lombardi. Bill Parcells. We had Taylor Kyles on earlier. We haven't done our daily Celtics reminder yet, so we'll do that soon. Will Judon's comments result in a new deal? We'll get to that. Bill Belichick's coaching tree. That's never going to happen.
I had a feeling that one wasn't.
Musings, Glasheen, Red Sox recap, go home. That's what I have for the rest of the night. All right. What's today? August 20th.
August 20th.
We got to repeat some birthdays we missed yesterday. But here's the story that I have today. An Applebee's customer arrested after trying to share the all-you-can-eat order. You ever done that before?
Been arrested at an Applebee's? No.
Have you ever gone to an all-you-can-eat and shared?
I don't think I've been to a buffet in a long time.
I remember being like a broke teenage kid and like we've done stuff like that. You know what we used to have in Hyde Park? We had a Pizza Hut buffet. So there was like this the salad buffet, which of course I was out on. It looked great though. But they used to put pizzas like out buffet style. So they'd have cheese, pepperoni, meatball, like, you know, pineapple here and there. And if you bought the all you can eat, you could literally walk up and eat as many slices of pizza if you want. It even came with breadsticks too. So every once in a while, you'd go with like 4 friends, but only 2 people would buy. But you get 4 waters, and everybody's eating, baby. I've done it. Again, I was a broke kid. You know, we didn't have, you know, if you didn't have any money on you, it's like, hey, or do you want to split it? Well, you know the tagline for Applebee's, right? Eating good in the neighborhood. Well, an Applebee's diner got a helping of just desserts for allegedly causing an uproar when a woman tried to feed her entire table with a single all-you-can-eat meal. Sheena Cobbs, 28, landed behind bars after taking her group out to the boneless buffalo wing mecca in Portage, Indiana for a night of cheap eats on August 2nd. According to a police report, Cobbs and her clan, 2 other adults and several juveniles, according to the New York Post here, told the police they ordered one all-you-can-eat special to share with the table. For $15.99, the meal deal included endless boneless wings, riblets, double crunch shrimp, and fries, and debuted days earlier on July 29th. But a real food fight erupted when the bill came. An Applebee's manager informed the group that each person would have to pay for 1 serving of the deal. Police were called to the scene, with dispatchers warning cops ahead of time to expect multiple females screaming and threatening people. Did she indicate? Now, I'm curious how the waiter or waitress handled this one. Did the manager write up the bill? Was it the waitress? What if it was one person eating while 3 others were watching? How do you assume that all 4 of them were eating? Cobb's group found the revelation very unprofessional and fought tooth and nail to pay no more than $16 for their big night out. They also argued that the menu did not specify that the deal didn't cover the table. But the half-baked defense quickly fell apart when cops saw the words, per person, in bold letters directly beneath the all-you-can-eat heading. As police tried to calm Cobbs and the rest of her group down, the disgruntled customer turned her ire on another couple dining in the restaurant, igniting another round of screaming. After multiple warnings from police and attempts by her friend to shut her up, Cobbs was arrested for disorderly conduct and transported to jail. I am looking at the menu right now. It said never-ending summer of flavor, all you can eat, limited time, $15.99 per person. Boneless wings, riblets, double crunch shrimp. Have you ever had the double crunch shrimp?
No.
I love the rib. I mean, I haven't been to an Applebee's in a long time. But when I was in high school, there was an Applebee's in a hotel down the street from where I went. They had an excellent riblet platter. There's ribs just drenched over French fries. It was very good, but it does say per person on there. Cobbs faces a much higher bill than she tried to weasel her way out of. The misdemeanor carries a maximum sentence of 180 days behind bars and a $1,000 fine, plus her group had to pay the bill in full after realizing the mistake. Applebee's did not immediately respond to the post request for the $16. Instead, you got $64. I mean, I'd be a little offended, too, if I got a $64 bill and thought I was paying $16.
Yeah, it sounds like they were trying to play the system. Should
we go to an expert on this? Riz is in East Providence. Hello, Riz.
What up, my boy Joe? Skaz, first and foremost, shout out to the Twitch fam / YouTube fam. But you're telling this Applebee story, Joe, and I hate to say it, but black folks don't know how to act. They knew damn well what they was doing. They were just trying to pull a fast one. So I went to the Applebee's down here in Seekonk, and I had the buffet joint. The problem with it is it's not the best. I'm not going to lie. I had the riblets. Not the best. The boneless buffalo wings, they all right. And the shrimp, Joe, for $16, you really can't complain. But the issue is, if you don't order ahead of time, let's say you finish your riblets, and then you go with like a chicken, whatever flavors that they have, it takes them about 10 to 15 minutes for them to bring out the second plate. So by the time you're done, you're sitting there for like an hour looking like a straight fatty. And I don't want to look like a fatty, Joe.
You know fatty, Riz. So you think that the buffet etiquette is kind of like you take what you give you because it's going to take a while to replenish?
Pretty much, because you got to order it ahead of time. Like I said, if you order, let's say you order the riblets again, while you're eating, you have to order another meal because you'll be sitting there for another 10, 15 minutes because there's other people in the restaurant too. Mm-hmm. So you got to take home your food by the end of the night because if not, you'll be there for 2 hours waiting for your food. And again, I don't want to look like a fatty, Joe.
Yeah, I don't care what I look like. I just want to eat. So if I don't want I don't want ribs that have been out for an hour. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
You remember that Pizza Hut buffet back in the day?
I've had it too. Now, I thought it was a real deal pizza buffet, Joe. Like it's going to have all types of pizza, stuffed crust, all that. No. It's it's basically cold pizza, Joe, that they have sitting there. It's pepperoni, the cheese. You might have a sausage here and there. But it's you take what you can get, what they have available there. Pizza Hut, it sucks, man. I hate to say it. Not a fan.
Okay. And what's your favorite kind of macaroni and cheese?
Not the box, Joe. That Kraft macaroni and cheese, that's disgusting, man. You got to have the real deal mac and cheese with like straight 7 cheeses. Put some milk. Just put it in the oven, and you know how it is, Joe.
What about
you know how the black folks cook the macaroni and cheese? It's straight bomb.
What about the Velveeta cheese, the one you squeeze out of the package?
I mean, you can add that too to add a little bit of cheese, but the Velveeta cheese, nah, Joe. And I don't know what is going on tonight with all the moaning with JP. You dudes are wilding tonight, man. But the show is great. Love the show again. Keep it up, Joe. Skaz, you guys are doing a great job. Have a good night, fellas.
Thank you, Riz. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Thank you, Riz. Shout out to the Twitch fam, YouTube fam. Good to go? Okay. Let's just give the birthdays, and we'll go to a break real quick. Birthdays from yesterday that we missed. I'm trying to find some from yesterday. James Franco, 46 years old.
John Stamos, we missed yesterday.
Oh, how do we miss that? Kate Hudson's 45. Wow.
I saw one today, Joe. Amy Adams is 50.
Tim Curry, 78. Here is your very own pizza. Oh, Suge Knight. How'd we miss that one? 59 years old. Joanna Gaines. How'd we miss her? How do we miss these people? Shaquille O'Neal. Maria Sharapova, 37 years. Ashley Judd, 56. Jesse James, 55. Today's birthday.
Robert Plant, 76.
I saw him live. George Takei, 87 years old. Jessica Lange, 75 years old. Crispin Glover, 60 years old today. Andy Serkis is 60 years old today. Shamir Moore is 54. Carmen Electra, 52 years old today.
Al Roker, 70 years old today.
Ooh. Who else do we have here? Kind of running out of birthdays, guys. I don't think that's it. Man, Carmen Electra. Remember Singled Out?
A little before my time.
Oh, that was an excellent show.
Joe, it is one Fred Durst's birthday today.
Yeah. You know what tomorrow's Creed? Jeff's going. Joey Lawrence, 48 years old. Whoa!
I couldn't believe Amy Adams is 50.
Wow.
Todd Helton, 50 or 49, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, Bird just texted me. He said that it's a full moon outside tonight. That must explain it. All right, I'm going to give Einbein a minute because we're going to talk to Brendan Glasheen, the voice of the Sun, in a minute. Einbein, hello.
Hey, Joe, my man. How you doing?
How you doing?
So years ago when I lived in Houston, we used to go every Friday after Thanksgiving up to Huntsville, Texas, to a tree farm to cut down trees with my friends Steve and Linda. And Steve was a very, very, very big man. And on the way back, we always stopped at this all-you-can-eat fried fish place, and he would eat literally dozens of platters of fish, and we would just sit there for like 2 hours watching this guy slam fish down. I was already full. I was driving because I had to pick up that we hit the trees in, and I'm like, dude, we got to go. And he's just like, oh, there's a few more. And the wait staff would just like give him crap. And like, oh, you can't have any more. And he's like, it says all you can eat. I'm going to eat more. It was kind of funny.
Did he take some to go?
No, they wouldn't let you do that. So when he was done, he would like eat his wife's leftovers and ask me if I was going to eat the last fish on my plate. I mean, the guy was something else.
That guy is.
He ended up with diabetes. I mean, he was a huge man.
Well, that was a morbid end to it. Thanks, Einbein. That was very morbid. All right, that's it for the musings. There was a basketball game over at the Garden tonight. We got to get the headlines first, but we're going to talk to Brendan Glasheen, who called the game, coming up in just a minute here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBC FM and HD Boston. We've got the Patriots covered.
Back to the home. He's in trouble. A sack.
It's an all-new season for the Pats, and you'll hear it all right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox and Astros tied at 5 right now, top of the 7th inning. And the Connecticut Sun won tonight 69-61 over the Sparks. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Next update soon.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. There was basketball at TD Garden tonight. WNBA basketball. Let's welcome in on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline, Brendan Glasheen, the voice of the Sun. Hello, Brendan Glasheen.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me on.
All right, tell us about the night. Bird gave me an update, told me it was slamming packed. What was it like calling the game tonight from TD Garden, WNBA style?
Dude, it was Boston showed out, man. That was really impressive. I was talking to some friends about this. When the game got first brought up in December, I think people were thinking, it's probably a Caitlin Clark game, or it's going to be an Angel Reese game, or even Cameron Brink, who actually plays for the Sparks, but she's injured. She tore her ACL a couple months ago, which is a huge bummer. But the fact they sold this place out, 19,000 plus, their most tickets they've ever sold in their franchise's history. It's the third biggest crowd for the entire league. I know Clark's name's been in a lot of those games, but the Sun have the third highest attendance of the game this year. That game tonight, they made a huge run. It was a 14-0 run in the fourth quarter. The place was bumping. It felt like a playoff game. It honestly felt like an NBA playoff game. Tatum was there. Drew Holiday was there. Huge pop when they showed those guys on the Jumbotron. Really, really cool night, Joe. And personally, I know we've talked about this and whatnot, but sitting at that table where Gorman called games for years and having a chance to do that, pretty neat.
You chalk one up on the resume, right? You're calling games at TD Garden now.
Yeah, I guess so, if you put it that way. It was cool. It was pretty cool. A lot of moments where I'm like taking the headset off and looking around. It was pretty cool.
All right, so I got one for you. So obviously the Connecticut Sun play at Mohegan, and it's a draw, right? You get to go to the casino, nice event, nice venue. But now you come to Boston. Is it different? Like you mentioned the feel. Obviously you're playing where the Celtics played, but did it feel like you were playing where the champions played tonight? Was it that kind of different experience?
Very much so. I think that's why they tried, at least when they were able to pick LA as the opponent. I think it just worked out that way, that LA happened to be the opponent because the Sparks have a pretty solid brand. I mean, they've been one of the original teams since the league was founded in the late 90s. But it did feel like the players were talking about it. The Sun players were talking about it all week about how the Celtics had just won the championship and the way the Celtics and the Sun have worked together over the years. We had Allison Feaster, who works in the Celtics team development department. She joined our broadcast, and she discussed, the Celtics are their sister team is the Sun, and they're heavily involved in from a basketball standpoint. Our head coach, Joe, Stephanie White, is from Indiana, and she's been friends with Brad Stevens for a very long time. Like, they share text messages, they stay in contact, and they understand, the importance of winning at a high level, and that's what both franchises have done. I mean, the Sun think about this, Joe. The Sun went to the finals 2 years ago, lost. That's what the Celtics did. They lost to Golden State. Last year, Sun went to the semifinals, got knocked out by New York. Celtics last year knocked out semifinals. There's a lot of parallels. The Sun have been knocking at the door. So, yeah, they have that pressure of wanting to be a championship caliber franchise. They've never won the championship before. This kind of event, last couple days, has really kind of brought that oomph back.
Talking to Brendan Glasheen, the voice of the Sun. First ever WNBA game tonight, played at TD Garden in Boston. Were there a chance of beat LA going through the court tonight?
Yes, fourth quarter. It was something. And one thing I know people at the station give me crap that I'm one of those Syracuse guys, but one thing you'll do learn, and really any broadcaster, is you lay out when there's big moments from the crowd. Let the crowd noise pump in. Mike Gorman was a master of that. I think he was one of the guys I idolized growing up to do that. And Joe, you could hear it pumping into our headsets of the Beat LA chant. It was really, really something. They got one going, and then there was a weird kind of foul call, so it kind of made it awkward for the fans to keep going. Then they got another one going in the final couple minutes when they went on that big run, and it was a pop, man. It was a loud pop in that building tonight.
Can you just tell us a little bit about the Sparks and the Suns? Obviously, offensive team versus defensive team, and it was a big comeback for the Sun tonight. But LA, I believe, had 22 turnovers in this one.
Yeah. The Sparks, they're decimated by injury. I mentioned the Cameron Brink injury has really hurt them. Rakia Jackson, who played at Tennessee, was the 4th overall pick. I think she's going to be a really, really good player. De'Erica Hamby, she played for the Aces, won a championship there a few years ago. LA's had players in and out of the lineup the last 2 years. Like they've had like 30 different players suit up in a game the last 2 years, meaning they haven't been able to establish any kind of chemistry with younger players. They have some vets, mostly young players, no chemistry really. They're trying to figure it out on the fly, whereas the Sun, they've had continuity for years with Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, DeWanna Bonner. They're very connected defensively. So the Sun, to cross sports, to use a football comp, the Sun a lot of times remind me, Joe, of like the Patriots in terms of like they will make you make a mistake, and the old Patriots, not the current ones. We'll make them feast. We'll feast on their mistakes and make you screw up. And if you screw up and turn the ball over, then you don't have much of a chance. Because like you said, the Sun have really over the last 5 years have prided themselves on the defensive end of the floor.
So Brendan, I'll tell you this much. I enjoy the hell out of WNBA basketball. I don't know if it's easier to watch or competitive or whatnot, but I watched Alyssa Thomas during the Olympics. She came off the bench tonight and pretty much was a huge spark, but these are some really big names now. Like, I don't know, man. Like, do you think there can be a Boston team, a WNBA Boston team, or would that really clash with Connecticut?
It's a good question. I hope they do this again next year. I mean, just speaking amongst ourselves, just spitballing. This is no info. This is no insider info or anything. Just after that game, you can't help it. I went to talk to our producer and Ashley Battle, who I called Ashley Battle, works for the Celtics. She's a scout for the Celtics and also works. She used to play in the WNBA, so she called the game with me. I looked at her. I said, they have to do this again. This was a home run. They sold the building out. They had a block party 3 hours before the game. Canal Street was packed the minute I got there at like 4:30. There was people all over the place. I'm like, this is incredible. I don't know what the future holds in that regard, if they can have a coexisting Boston and Connecticut. But, Joe, I think people love their women's sports around here. And I think people in this city are drawn to winning teams. And the Sun, for the last half decade, all they do is win. They win 80% of their home games. They're viable on the road. They're in the Final Four every year. They haven't got over that hump yet, and they play hard. Like you said, Thomas, like, she's their best player, and she plays every minute of every night. Like, she doesn't take nights off. There's no load management with this team. Like, Joe, I was blown away by the attendance tonight. One of the Sun players, Dejanay Carrington, had said before the game, she assumed they were just going to block off the balcony and like fill the loge and kind of sell it that way. When I saw a sellout the other day, I'm like, good on you, Boston. Shame on me for not thinking more of you, because they've had the NWSL here, the PWHL. Folks like the basketball, and I think I really believe that the Celtics championship kind of put some wind at their sails. You know what I mean? Like having that basketball fever still kind of in place.
There's been a lot going on at the Garden, right? You had the big three this weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, the WNBA. Doesn't this just make you think the next Celtics owner would like their own arena so they can have these events more often than not? And it's great that it's at the Garden, and I love it. But it's just, I keep thinking of that. The Celtics made no money tonight. And I just feel like going forward, their own arena, this could really pay off, not for the WNBA and other basketball affiliates as well.
Dude, I mean, one thing that's crossed my mind is Jeff Bezos, Amazon, WNBA, and the NBA, their new media rights deal. Who's involved? Amazon. Like, there's kind of a direct tie. Again, that's just me, like, reading the news like everybody else is. Like, that's where my mind went. I'm like, interesting, because the W is part of this new NBA media rights deal. NBC, ESPN, Amazon Prime. Interesting, right? Like, if Bezos is the guy and ends up being the man for the job to own the team, like, I'm curious, like, that kind of opens the door, right, to maybe have a WNBA team because of the parallels and the same ownership, the same media rights deal. So, that's kind of where my mind went when I heard the Bezos thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think, look, like, there's the Sparks, the Minnesota Lynx, Minnesota Timberwolves, Liberty, Brooklyn Nets. There are a lot of teams in the W that have that kind of cohesion with the NBA team. You're going to see a team in Golden State next year. They're going to play at the Chase Arena. they'll have ties with Golden State Warriors. So I think it's a no-brainer, man. Tonight was pretty special.
Brendan Glasheen joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, the voice of the Connecticut Sun, also the voice of the Maine Celtics. You getting excited for Bailey Shireman and Anton Watson?
They were actually at the game tonight. Shireman was here, and so was Watson. Watson's on a two-way, so we'll see him in Maine. As it pertains to Shireman, I don't know what the plan is, right? I think there's a chance, right? So he gets playing time. They obviously believed in him by using a first-round pick and not trading out of that pick and giving him a real first-round contract. From what I understand, there's a good chance he could be in Maine to get playing time. But I think that there's a long way to go before we find that out, right? Because of training camp and rookie camp and whatnot. So, I think Watson, I loved Watson when he was at Gonzaga. I mean, when I stayed up late watching those Gonzaga UCLA games, I mean, that dude was a force. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's kind of a need on the team, right? Like, Tillman was good when they picked him up last year. Don't get me wrong, but I think having kind of a swaying big like Watson, there might be a path there down the road. So, yeah, looking forward to it. It's coming up.
All right, man. Any good food at the Garden tonight?
They had, let me think, as I ate so long ago, and my brain is mush right now. They had beef tenderloin, they had salmon. This is the Garden spread they had. Mashed potatoes and a salad spread. Clam chowder, too.
Wow.
It's good.
Sounds good.
Dude, they take care of us at Mohegan. They actually give us a really nice spread when I do Sun home games. So
they bring that Frank Pepe's over?
Oh, my God. It's good.
It's like Frank Pepe's and what's the donut joint? You got both of those up there. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your favorite? What's your favorite kind of mac and cheese?
Favorite mac and cheese?
Yeah.
I just.
Are you like a Kraft mac and cheese guy? An Annie's, a Velveeta?
Kraft is good. I'm good with Kraft. I'm simple.
All right. We've been doing mac and cheese talk on top of a chicken sandwich. So I figured we'd get your opinion on that.
Yeah. Joe, thank you for spending some time on this, though, because, like, I know you know me, and the game was on NBC Sports Boston, and it was at TD. I know it's a Boston story, but these are the kinds of things you and I just shooting the breeze about this stuff is how the league has grown. Like, they sold out a game tonight, and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese weren't in the game, and the star for the Sparks is hurt. So it's kind of proof, like, I get it. I understand how much Clark and Reese have mattered, especially Clark. I get it. This is kind of proof, like, there are people that do care about the basketball. And I think that's kind of where the conversation has gone now. Like, let's just watch the hoop and pick apart the hoop. So I appreciate you even thinking of having me on about it, because I think it was a big moment.
Men, women, 3-on-3, it doesn't matter. Everybody loves basketball in the city of Boston, bro.
Correct. Exactly right.
All right, he's Brendan Glasheen, live. Sources on the ground from the TD Garden tonight with the Connecticut Suns win 69-61 over the Sparks. Brendan, appreciate your time, bro, and we will catch up soon, sir.
Sounds good. Thanks,
got it, man. Congratulations. Have a great night. All right. Glasheen. He sounded like he was floating. He was floating. A big moment for him tonight.
Joe, just because we're on the mac and cheese talk, one Dennis Knudsen wants to know if you're in or out on ketchup on mac and cheese.
Dennis, I'm a dipper. So every once in a while, if I have like let's say hot dogs and mac and cheese, and I put the ketchup for the hot dog, I'm dipping, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I'm a dipper. Especially, so I think the Kraft mac and cheese goes better with the ketchup, personally. But I'm an Annie's fan. I like that white creamy one. I haven't tried that with ketchup yet. Even barbecue sauce is outstanding. A little pulled pork with mac and cheese. But yes, ketchup, in.
I'm out on the barbecue, in on the ketchup.
All right. Different strokes, different folks. All right, we actually have to go to a break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
So as far as the pencils go, I don't know why. Who uses number 2 pencils anymore? Do they still do testing? Ticonderoga. I don't know why. The Red Sox are winning. We'll tell you what the score is. And Skaz, let's get to the Bill Belichick coaching tree.
I'm not holding my breath for that one.
Just come back with the Cowherd after this. We'll hear from Colin Cowherd, and we'll get you the headlines. You'll listen to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox lead 6-5 right now at the moment. A lot has happened tonight. Jarren Duran with the go-ahead home run in the
Murray pre-party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
And I think as Bill Belichick looks for a job next year, and this broadcasting thing, that's not what he ever dreamed of doing. There's a new term, and it's used in football, and it's called Belichick guys. They're all combative. They're obnoxious. Flores, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Josh McDaniel, Bill O'Brien. They used to call Bill O'Brien apparently Teapot. Brady did and Brian Hoyer did because he boiled over all the time in meetings. And this thing with Brian Flores, it's beyond obnoxious. It's cruel. And it's essentially the opposite of the Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan tree. The D'Amico Ryans, the Robert Salas, the Kevin O'Connells, they come out, they're collaborative, they get along with people, they're pro-player, Belichick guys. And, you know, Brian Flores probably watched Belichick dog cuss Brady for years. I mean, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, people have come out, even those who are favorable with Belichick, and said, I can't believe what Tom put up with. And it's becoming crystal clear. Sorry, Belichick fanboys and sycophants. It's becoming crystal clear is that Tom Brady and only Tom Brady elevated Belichick and the entire staff. Josh McDaniel couldn't get along with Derek Carr and Jay Cutler. Matt Patricia couldn't get along with Matt Stafford. Who fights with Matt Stafford?
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. That was Colin Cowherd talking about the Bill Belichick coaching tree, which I'm sure you could criticize. Sure, go ahead. But this is in response to Tua Tagovailoa talking about Flores as a terrible person. Flores did respond saying, look, I'm human. So that hit me in a way that it wasn't. It wasn't positive for me is what he said. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? So that from Brian Flores, who spoke earlier today. Just looking at some of the numbers, Brian Flores went 19-14 in his last two seasons. Then the Dolphins fired him, and they hired McDaniel. They got Tyreek Hill, Armstead, Mostert, Chubb, Ramsey. They've gone 20-16 since. 3-9 record from week 14 on. It looks different, though, right? It looks different. Maybe Brian Flores isn't great on coaching offense. Maybe he's just a defensive guy. I will say, though, in today's world, nobody wants to go to work and have the constructive criticism to the point where it's like, I'm doing this to you to make you better. Like, it's not like that anymore. People don't adapt to those things anymore. And listen, Tua's been spoon-fed his whole career. Let's just call it what it is. Tua needed Mike McDaniel. He needed him. This is painting Brian Flores in a bad light, and it's going to make the Belichick coaching tree look bad. I just want to preach accuracy. Brian Flores went 19-14 with the Dolphins. McDaniel's gone 20-16. It's one win better. That's the difference. That's the difference. Do I think the McDaniel offense is great for Tua Tagovailoa? Absolutely. Who is this worse for? Brian Flores, no doubt. But this is where I'm going, Skaz, when I talk about college coming to the NFL. There's a lot of old school NFL guys. They're working now with young 21-year-olds. I don't understand some things that 21-year-olds do. We have interns that are 21s, guys. Like we work with young kids like that. So imagine coaches that are 60 plus. How do you relate to these kids? And this is what I mean when they say, "Oh, Drake May is not ready. Drake May is not ready." No. You guys aren't ready. Get your bleep together. You have no line and no receivers. Get it together. This kid's gotten more reps, Drake May in college and through the combine to now than Jacoby Brissett's had all offseason. Stop saying that these guys aren't ready. It's you. the Patriots, who aren't ready. That is a fact. Coming up in a few here. Hard Knocks happened tonight. Obviously, the Bears are being featured this year. And there's an interesting note regarding what happened with Matthew Judon. We'll tell you that coming up in just a little bit here. But I see my guy, Stephen Peabody, on the line. Steve, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, my friends? How you doing, all right?
Good. You worked the game tonight?
I sure did. It was very entertaining. I really liked it, and it got over kind of quick, too.
That's cool. Yeah, we just had Brendan Glasheen on. He called the game tonight for the Connecticut Sun. And he was floored. He said there was 19,000 people there. All the stars were out, and it was a great finish as well.
It was. It was a real good game, very entertaining. It kind of had that feel of the Harlem Globetrotters when there were timeouts. Guy would be on the microphone and naturally doing other things, and I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
There's a hype man, huh?
The main reason why I called was you just made a comment about Belichick's tree. McVay.
Holmgren?
I lost my train of the
Andy
the
Reid?
San Francisco coach.
Yep, Shanahan.
The San Francisco, and a couple of the others that you mentioned. How many Super Bowls do they have? One. McVay's got one. That's it. Saleh's got nothing. The Buffalo coach has got nothing. Shanahan's gagged more than. I don't even want to say it.
Well,
but
real quick, the only guys who've won Super Bowls outside of Brady and Mahomes is Stafford.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
Am I missing one, guys? Besides Brady and Mahomes, who else has won a Super Bowl?
Russell Wilson, Nick Foles.
Well, Russell Wilson's still going. Foles just retired. But it's like it's easy to say. Well, how many Super Bowls? Well, I don't know. McVay's got the one, isn't it? This is what I did with the Bruins, right? Only 10 teams won in the last 20 years, but the Bruins are one of them. So does that make it a good thing, even though they've only won one in 50 years?
Right. And one other quick thing. I watched the Pittsburgh game the other night. That supposedly left tackle moved over to right. Their number one draft choice, Jones, he sucks. He's horrible.
The Pats could have drafted him and traded out and got Christian Gonzalez last year.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you again.
How was Route 1 Grill House? What'd you get?
I got the steak tips.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, buddy, I'm sorry. Champions has got them
come
on
on.
their steak tips.
All right, Steve. Love you, buddy. He's repping Peabody, that's why. Route 1 Grill House, the place to be. With a little rice pilaf on the side. It's been a food frenzy tonight, guys.
A food frenzy and a full moon, I guess, Joe. But just on you mentioned the Dolphins with Flores and then with McDaniel, how the win-loss isn't that crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
one's 20 to 19.
Yeah, so Brian Flores went 19-14 in his 2 seasons. The Dolphins fired him, hired Mike McDaniel. What else did they do in that time span? They acquired Tyreek Hill, Armstead. Did you do this already?
Yeah.
Chubb.
It's okay.
That's what happens when I'm answering the phones. And Jalen Ramsey. And they're 3-9 from week 14 on.
Because it's cold.
And
they can't beat the Chiefs.
So was Brian Flores too hard on Tua? Probably.
Probably.
Is there other ways to reach a quarterback? Sure.
Is it I will say this.
Do I think Brian Flores is a bad guy because of this? No.
I think Flores took ownership, but this is where I'm going with it. I think that you're working with we work with 21-year-olds here. Like, we ask them to do things. Like, it's, you know the deal, bro. I will say this. Mike McDaniel saved Tua's career. And I think Tua was going down more because of health than it was physical.
He prolonged to his career.
Okay.
I'll say that. I don't know, because I'm not convinced on Tua.
But there was no way Flores was going to.
No, he wanted nothing to do with him. Maybe because he knew deep down Tua's limited.
Because he saw the best. Yeah, no. That's actually something that I actually give a merit to Flores about that.
Yes.
But if he becomes a head coach, You got to know that these young kids, the owner of the Dolphins or whoever the GM was, literally
didn't want Tua. The owner tried to get Tom Brady. You want to complain about the head coach? The owner wanted nothing to do with him. The owner was trying to get Brady in 2022. So if Tua's got a problem with Brian Flores, why don't you look upstairs, bud? Look at the owner.
Well, maybe they'll fire Mike McDaniel if they don't win this year.
If Mike McDaniel's gone, Tua's gone.
I agree with that. Okay.
Tua. Out.
Roll Tua.
We did get a one Josh Polonsky check in.
Oh, Josh, how you doing, Josh?
Just saying he's out on catch up on the mac and cheese.
Of course, he heard Dennis like something.
One engineer to another.
So he did. I'm telling you,
everybody's out tonight.
I have heard from so many people tonight. Is it because we haven't talked real sports?
Yeah, we had Glasheen on. Taylor Kyles was great.
Taylor Kyles was great. We've actually had a very informed Red Sox. Are the Red Sox winning yet? Or is it
6-5, headed to the bottom of the ninth, Joe. Hold on. Can we make it?
Let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's play that Hard Knock sound, and then we'll get an update on the Red Sox as well. And the final hour of the show is brought to you by our good friends over at Valvoline. It's an oil change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your next round of oil change at Valvoline. It's an oil change. Now open in Rainham, Reading, and Braintree. Let's see how the Red Sox finish coming up next.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Patriots edge rusher Matthew Judon is on the market, and Parcells is working hard to make a trade.
So we did a Judon conversation today. He only played 4 games, hit a bicep. So just from an analytics standpoint, kind of where he's at. So just wins at it. He's 50th among defensive ends. To put in perspective, Sweat's 14th. We believe he would help us get better. Just his style. We think having a bicep rather than like a lower body injury, he still would play to the same intensity and explosion as we did before. It does come with risk, though, at 32.
He's got some things working, huh?
Yeah.
Think we'll get it over the finish line?
I do.
Yeah.
Our language is basically saying if the contract's not signed, then he reverts back to New England. Got it. Cover, so.
What do we get?
It'd be 3. So all that would happen fast.
Yeah, okay. Just keep it posted.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Parcells has met New England's asking price of a third-round pick. But unless Judon agrees to a contract extension with the Bears, Chicago won't make the deal.
Wow, there's a juicy nugget right there. So the Bears wanted to make a trade, give up a third-round pick, and extend him, and Judon chose Atlanta. And his comment recently was he doesn't expect Atlanta to do it. He wants to prove to Atlanta. I'm curious if Judon wants to be a free agent. There's more money, right, Scott? If he has a big year and goes to free agency, at 33, he might still be able to get more guaranteed money. This is Matthew Judon betting on himself, but going to the better team. Let's see how this works out for him. We'll keep our eyes on that one. The Bears were invested. Talk about that. Number 1 overall pick, Roma Dunze drafted. They trade for Keenan Allen. They upgrade their defense last year, getting Sweat. The Bears look good. They've drafted well, and they want to get better. And Matthew Judon was there for the taking. They offered the third-round pick. And it didn't come with a contract. All right. Throw the gas, not the ass. Kenley Jansen threw fastball, 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 fastball. Red Sox win. Red Sox win with gas. More gas. 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 Not the slider sloop stuff. You know who was playing with gas tonight? James Caramazino.